Probably should never have trimmed this one anyways. And the irony being, if I buy back at 500, this is kind of where I trimmed in July anyways.
So Marvin, yeah, I mean, like I said, I want to get some more Palo Alto and maybe buy some more cybersecurity names. Yeah. MRVL right now, it's 11 o'clock, we're gonna get out of here. MRVL dropping off 100 real easy there. I don't know, like that VWAP, and again, whenever there's a gap play to VWAP, I mean, boom, shout out to Brian Shannon there. All right, good show today. Thanks, Adara, Brendo, Raheem from OCI. We want to thank him for stepping through as well. Sharif on the morning time. Joe for his amazing upgrades, downgrades, and call actions. We want to thank Joe for that. I bet you it's going to be some talk about AEO coming up very, very soon. We want to thank Adara for dropping the news again today, and always a good show with Neil over here. So we're going to get out of here, man. We're going to go, Sharif, man, we're going to push some weights today. So we're getting ready to do that. And the next time you see me, I'll be even more bald than I am, because I'm going to try to go get a haircut.
Oh, you got called out this morning. We didn't mention this.
Yeah, Rains, and I looked. So it's been I don't know how often people get haircuts, but it's been 5 weeks. So I looked because I pay with my tap. So I looked the last time I was at the barber there. So I got to go see him. There it has been 5 weeks. It was October 25th or whatever.
That's not that long. A month.
Yeah, we're friends. Like me and Randy go to this guy. He's been a good friend of ours. And the guy that owned the place was 86 or 87. And he passed away, and Randy and I went earlier this year. We went to his wake and everything like that. So, you know, the barbershop is kind of special to us in that form. So the guy texts us all the time, see how we're doing. So I'm going to go say what's up to him. But hey, without any further ado, it's 11:02. Thanks for watching. We're back at 2. They're on right now. So ciao till then.
They're on the CAPR.
Ooh, greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And where are my people at in the chat? Let's say hello to everybody. Joseph, despite the fact that I'm still displeased with Google's changing of the names. We got MF Dangerous. We got Rainbow 6 Dash, and shout out to Hangry Wife. You check your DMs, Hangry Wife. You got my watch list, so I sent that to you this morning. Shout out to you, Yannick. We got Abid Burrow, Farm Trader, Andrew Chow, New Loon, Frank Trades 99, and shout out to Kirk D. Conservative Movement, oh boy. Oh, yeah. Dark Skin, we got Juan Padilla, we got Penn Style Coaching, shout out to Dumbo Thing Films, and Aura Alpha, Rex Banner in the house, as well as Blue Arrow, OG Wisdom. We got Papacito, we got Bustin', Rubber Side Down Cycles. What is going on? Corey Ewing. What out Ronian, Yummy Thai Foods, Todd, shout out to you. We got Fenno, we got Elvin, Alan, we got Bearded Warriors Trades, Ice Conductor, Kirk D. I know I glitched a little bit, Assassino, but it's the names. You can't blame me for that, man. Who else we got? We got Mr. Tendies. Okay. We got Johnny Bravo and Kenya Flowers. Love that. Capstone joining us as well. As last one here, Joey. Mansfield Micro Green 542. Good morning to you. And good morning to you, my man.
Good morning, yeah, good morning. And I love you too, at Torino, whatever that means. I pronounced that wrong. But hey, aside from that, guys, let's get this party started. Or as the Buffer, did you know that they were brothers?
What?
Bruce Buffer and
Michael Buffer?
Yeah, and they didn't know for years.
They don't look alike.
No, they don't look alike.
I found out like about 10 years ago.
Yeah. And they didn't find out until not too long ago
They knew for a little minute.
But they were grown men by the time that I'm pretty sure.
So hold on, they didn't actually know that they were
No, and they're
brothers?
both working in the exact same thing, right? We talk about for all our conspiracy theorists out there living in a simulation.
Who you like better? I know you're going to say the MMA guy because that's your inclination.
Well, I mean, let's get boxing. Yeah, obviously, let's get ready to rumble is iconic, right? He trademarked that, didn't he?
Bro, and he was on WCW all the time. You know how much he's worth? Nitro.
Like a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Joey.
Speaking of, hold on.
Money. Show him what you got going on there, man.
Money.
Over there, man.
All right, guys, let's see what we were trading today. 2 trades on the session. One's going to be this NVDA short to the downside, running right into the volume-weighted average price, and then we get stopped out. That's all right. We get no worry. We had literally 5% left right there. We don't cry home about that one at all now, do we, Sharif? But
no, absolutely not.
One trade of the day is going to be The IBIT breakout. Yeah, Joe always trades it. Joe always trades. Yeah, I do. And sure enough, we traded just like this.
Trade it again.
Yeah, I'm going to trade it again. I'm going to trade it again. It's here, and it ain't going anywhere. So there it is, guys. Bitcoin up 1 1/3%, and a nice move. I went full size right here. I did get stopped out the remaining 20%. I was messaging Katina Man, and then sure enough, boom, all the way to the top side. But let's avoid all of what the trade looks like and just kind of get down to the nitty-gritty and kind of the mechanics of the trade. I was risking only 10 cents on this. I messaged in the chat earlier this morning the fact like, hey, I love seeing a dip in the pre-market as aggressive as we've seen. Why? Because the chances of a little pop out of the open are a little bit higher. So we're going to break this down. 52.50 was my entry, and I was literally only giving this 10 cents of risk. Before I even took any size off, I waited until I hit a 2-to-1. Boom, from 50 all the way up to 70s, and then that's when I take 20% off. The remaining is 10, 10, 15, 10, 10, 10, 15, 10, but, and so on. Sure enough, leaving me with 20% remaining right down to the lows, and I get stopped out break even. So Bitcoin executing relatively well, guys.
All right, guys, let's cut the crap. There's one big boy mover in the world of small cap gappers. It goes by the ticker IRBT. And your boy's involved. We're long 309s. Here's 320. I'm posted up at 23. Shout out to the boy Jordan. I thought I was logged in. You know what I did, Joey? I put the headpiece on.
But you never
I logged
in.
into Unity, Joey. But I
you
just
never
failed to
plugged in.
actually,
Plug
it in. You know, it might
Plug
need
it
that.
in.
Assassino, I know I disappoint you
Pick 'em
daily.
But you don't even want to know what he
brother.
said to me in my ear.
Say it again, Joey.
You don't even want to know. I'll
They're
tell you
they're
what he
talking
said to me.
smack about me
Yeah,
right
he was like,
there.
you know what?
Yeah,
I'm so sick of having to tell
He's sick
Sharif,
of me.
every day to either plug into Unity or turn it. It was worse.
It was worse. It was worse. Oh no. You know what's not worse, Joey? Into 327 we go, Joseph Options. IRBT is on the rampage to the high side now. I do have orders to defend 3. There's a seller at 3 1/4. We can't shake him. But I don't even want it. I don't want this to rocket up. I don't have full size yet. I was under the impression, we do it a little dilly-dallying here into $3, a little above 3, a little bit below 3. Doesn't look like that's the case at the moment. But that 25 sellers putting a damper on everybody's long party right now on IRBT. Anyway, here are the technical levels. I perceive the breakout level to be 290, despite the fact that, of course, $3 is that psychological resistance. Now let's see if it's support. I also like the 290 area. In addition to the price action breakout, that's where the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart is. And I love to trade off that level. So I want to build a position. I don't want, this thing to rocket. I don't have the full position. So deal is we're going to defend 3. We're going to defend 290. And then I'm going to decide if I want to DCA into VWAP, which is at 280. Currently, it's a little bit below 280 at the moment, okay? So that's my thinking right now on IRBT. It's up 61%. It's got a hell of a chart pattern under its wings right now. Higher highs, higher lows. We just printed that intraday high at 27s. So that's going to take the majority of my focus. Shout out to my man Corey Ewing, Sharif. Well, first of all, he dropped 5 in the chat, so we're going to shout him out. Sharif, keep an eye on VRAX. It's about 2K. Well, let me just pull this up because not letting me read the whole thing. There we go. It's about 2,000 shares at 60 pennies. Also, Archer is a small cap to you. I don't know. Look, these Archer and Joby, I don't want to call them small caps because they're on the way to becoming real companies. Who knows if these guys end up being the winner? There could be others, obviously, but yeah, it's a $5.2 billion company, so I wouldn't call it a small cap gapper, but let me take a quick gander here at VRAX. Let me just pull in the side chart so everybody else can take said gander with us. VRAX, he's saying, Joey? Here we go. Okay, so it's a sub $1 name. Let's flip to the 5 and let's add it on to the side over here so that we can get current updates on it. Okay, so right away, it doesn't meet my requirements, okay? And I hate to sound so glib about it, but there are 2 failures of said requirements. The pre-market high hasn't been reached. In fact, that pre-market high that we popped into at 825 is $1 on the dot. And secondly, it is trading below the volume weighted average price. That to me, in my language, means that the sellers are in control as opposed to the buyers. So I'm a long only small cap trader. That doesn't work out for me. So it's gonna have to do two things. First and foremost, get back above 76 pennies where VWAP is. And then it's gonna have to dilly-dally its way up to $1. If it doesn't dilly-dally, that's fine. It can rocket up there as well. But $1 has to be retaken, and that volume weighted average price has to be retaken. But this is not a bad looking chart pattern here. It's just, you know, there was no bullseye continuation. And so that displeases me greatly in terms of, you know, a trend trader. So you get that big boy up, big boy move up, 755, 8. You get that consolidation. It looks like it's going to be a bull pennant. You get higher lows, but you also get lower highs. And then the textbook says you should resolve in direction of the trend. Well, you didn't this time. In fact, it was quite the opposite. You got the break through the lower lows, and then all hell broke loose all the way down to 60 pennies. So VRAX doesn't work out for me at the moment, but if it gets back above the levels that I just articulated there, let me know, tag me, and then we'll jump right back into it. Joey, IRBT, not putting in any lower lows at the moment, so the current candle, the one that opened up at 1110, has a higher low than the candle that closed at 1105, so we haven't gotten anything over here. So I'm gonna have to, you know, rethink my strategy. If this current candle breaches the high of day, I'm gonna have to add, because, you know, well, it's not gonna give me the opportunity to add into 3. So keeping an eye on IRBT.
Good stuff there, brother. All right, so let's just kind of break down why we decided to take a short on one of the stronger names here in the market, and that's going to be NVDA. Maybe not on today's session, but we know who is the boss around town right now. Sure enough, we have that inverted hammer candle right above some of these highs, and as soon as it broke that low of that, so I guess the open of this candle around 181.40s, I take that short, and now you're starting to breach the volume weighted average price. And we talk about necklines all the time, right? So we've seen it in the likes of Apple as well too. So watch out for this level to be broken, and then I think you can head to that next stage, which is going to be around $179. Now, as for Apple, same thing. Honestly, I'm just at the stage in my trading ventures. Just the fact is, if you don't really love it, don't take it. Obviously, as the Captain Obvious there. No, but in all seriousness, Sharif, what I'm just avoiding is, regardless of the setup, and I know certain times require certain systems and everything along those lines, but at the end of the day, I'm going to avoid the strongest names to the short side. I would rather just go with the flow and just reserve that mental capital. Yes, we're breaking necklines here in AAPL, and there was a nice short. I mean, do we take this failed bull flag? Because that's essentially what this is right here, right? You have that strong 5-minute opening drive, you consolidate, you're forming that wedge style with that flat bottom, a key support level. But one thing that was starting to form here was those consistent lower highs, and the volume wasn't picking up how I wanted to see it. So once that support level broke, you can see that you have one test of it, and then it's straight to the downside. But just for me personally, I'm like, all right, the session has been pretty good so far. I don't want to take something where I'm going to be mad at myself at the end of the day, like, oh, why did I take that? Why am I shorting Apple? Why am I shorting Microsoft? Why am I shorting NVDA? Some of the names that have been on some monster runs as of late, and I avoided that at all costs, and I'm happy. Yes, the thesis did work out, but aside from that, it's just like, hey man, I'm calm and cool, collected, I'm waiting, I'm just looking for next potential setups, and then when I found out that, or when I seen on the chart on NVDA an inverted hammer candle, yes, it was a little bit more difficult to short one of the strongest chip names, but it was a higher probability setup, and I was happy to take that one. So at the end of the day, guys, take your setups, but also don't go against what you truly feel. When you have those gut feelings, I don't know if you ever get this, Sharif, some days you just have that gut feeling like, hey, I'm ready to rock and roll in the morning, and then other days you're like, you know what, I'm not really feeling it today. And just listen to those instincts, because the chances are that you're right, and you don't want to be extremely frustrated with yourself at the end of the day, brother.
All right, guys, IRBT, another high of day. So we take the 32s there. It's a 34 high of day. We got 09s on. We still haven't gotten any more, man. I made a mistake. I should have been adding there, but alas, that is my problem. This has always been the challenge for me to add into a winner, because you don't really know if it's going to hold up or not. So we're going to keep an eye out here. What I'm looking for specifically is the holding of the previous candle low. If we don't get the holding of the previous candle low, then I start looking for that 3 DCA, that 290 DCA that we spoke about. But we're going to keep an eye here. The strength is coming right back close to the highs. We're back into 28s. I think I'm going to put something maybe in the mid to high teens to capture maybe a quick wick down. And then a move back up. We'll see. So I put something there in the high teens. Let's see if we get it. But there's somebody who said keep your eye on KITT. K-I-T-T they were speaking about. Let's take a gander at that one. It was a sub $1 stock, but it was on the way to breaching said dollar. And here is the 5-minute on KITT, trading at 92 pennies now. It did spike in, I believe, to 104 high a day. It is currently holding prior bar low, and in fact has been holding that said pattern since 10:30. Take a gander right there at that candle of indecision, that doji candle that printed at 10:30 on the 5-minute chart. It is a series of higher lows since that doji candle, which ironically enough defended that 72.5 penny closing print that we had last night. In any event, it is a different trade north and south of $1, so I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. I like the fact that it's holding the higher low pattern. I don't like the fact that it's awfully close to the dollar, because sometimes, you know, that's the end of the story for these ones, right? They get into that dollar and they can't breach it. The shorts have notice of it and they start taking it right back down. Now, the reason I say I want to trade things north of $1 as opposed to the ones that are south, and that's not a hard rule like my VWAP rule and my pre-market high rule. The reason I say that, though, is because a couple of reasons. One, some algos won't trade these things until they get above $1. So sometimes you don't really get, you know, that strong up buy movement from the big playing algos until you breach that dollar. Secondly, it feels always to me that like it is a really thick trade south of that dollar, as you obviously have 4 decimal places and many different areas that you can post sell orders at. So keeping an eye on that. Now, it looks like here, like we may be breaching, I should say, that higher low pattern. So the prior bar low is 89 pennies, current bar low, 89. Okay, so we're basically the same. So we still haven't breached prior bar low, but this one certainly has a lower high. I think I'm going to have to be very careful with KITT, but we're certainly going to keep an eye out on it. Keeping an eye, though, on IRBT. Is it still hanging out in the high 20s? I still haven't gotten any of DCA's and my DCA orders. I've got them posted here in the high teens. None of them have printed. Seller at 31, high day 34, Joey. Keeping my eye out on that. I appreciate Angel Ore Fed. Whoa, that's a whole lot of words there, Joey.
Yeah,
in any event,
shout
out to you. I appreciate you. There is another high of day. It is going, guys, $3.37 now. That's the HOD. Let's keep an eye out on this one, Joe.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Yeah, MF dangerous. We've only taken 2 trades today. That's going to be the NVDA short and the IBIT long. Aside from that, guys, let's take a look at some of the top performing sectors here this morning. We're going to kick it off with the energy sector. You see how I put a little energy into that there? Yeah, 1.5% there by Nantrol's a little money sign right there on that one, sitting in that second place, up 0.8%. Consumer discretionary, guys, we got 3/4 on that front. As for the real estate, XLRE, just taking a little bump, taking a move ahead. So there it is. We're going to put the utilities in that third last spot, communications services sitting in that second last, and then the tech sector down 0.25%. Also, as for earnings, it's a nice, we'll call it a B-lister lineup tonight, Sharif. With Wednesday after the close, we have Salesforce.
Jeez.
Ooh. Snowflake. C3AI UiPath 5 below.
You've been waiting for a hot minute to pick up some Salesforce. I know you've been keeping your eye on that for a while.
I've been keeping, I have a, was it Benioff there? Yeah. I have the utmost faith in him, but I like him. At the end of the day, the market doesn't like to stock, man. Nope. This thing has been hot garbage, especially in this AI boom.
Absolutely.
When you would think, I remember when I went to Dallas, there was a big, massive Salesforce building right there. So yeah, I mean,
is that where they're at?
I don't know. I don't know if that's their home office, but there was a big one. So I mean, like, look at guys. You have stocks reaching all-time highs, up double-digit percentage, and you're still off of this previous pivot high. You're still down 38, 39%, and it's participated. It hasn't done anything in this whole AI boom, which is completely unfortunate. But at the end of the day, maybe we can start to break some trend lines. We'll draw some right here to see what we got going on. until then, I mean, you want to avoid this. You don't want to try to like say, oh yeah, I bought it now. I think it's going to climb higher. No, no, no. You just want to go with the flow. And if a stock's working, then do that. And if it's not, avoid it at all costs. So until we get a nice trend line break and some positive catalysts, we always know that Salesforce is kind of, it's very lenient with its its earnings report, essentially. So they don't guide very aggressively whatsoever. And maybe that will be a change. But again, if he's done it time and time, I don't expect anything different. So
you're going to have to keep your ear like solidly listening to what he says about agent force.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's putting everything into that.
Like,
and you know what, Joey? It's not taking off.
No, it's not. If you listen to his last earnings call, and he was on CNBC as well not too long ago, he's saying, yeah, there's a lot of adoption with the agent force, but it's saying it's not too bad. I don't know what's going on with the stock. Yeah, so there's something more going on behind the scenes. Other than that, the reports aren't horrible either. He's just always really light on the guidance, and that tends to hurt. There's no Oracle guidance there where you're going to guide X amount of years in the future and then the stock going to tank. But aside from that, guys, let's get right back into these markets. Super chat.
The super.
Okay, on the rail TV, $5. Do you think NVDA moves up when Jensen speaks later today? There's probably going to be some volatility within the stock and even the overall market. So if you get aggressive moves in NVDA, you're going to see it in the market as well.
If he can convince those Senate Republicans that they should be a little bit more lenient when it comes to exporting to China, this thing's going to monster boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think that is going to be the case. I think their position, well, who knows? Who knows what it's going to be, Joey? But he's going to make the case, let's get them using our hardware rather than allowing the Chinese to fill said vacuum and get everybody hooked on their cheaper, and you know it's going to be cheaper, hardware, right?
Absolutely.
And then all the developing countries who don't want to pay through the nose, some of these NVIDIA margins are going to start buying some of these Chinese chips, and that's not going to to be good for AI dominance in the West.
I think the...
IRBT is ripping faces, but I just want to mention,
I think it's inevitable that you're going to get the cheaper chips out of China regardless of what happens, right? You're going to ship them over, and they're going to just find a way. Like, we've seen it across the board on essentially everything, so I'm not going to change my bias on the fact that, you're going to get cheaper chips.
Fair enough. Just before we go to Adara, Joey, IRBT, $3.49. It's about to take out the $0.50. I've got my order on the north side of 50. That's the only way I get the print. But your boy doesn't have any more shares after we get this print over here, so we're going to have to figure out some way to get more in. IRBT is a rocket ship right now. It's on its way to 80%. What do you got, Adara? Just let me know when we want to go back. Adara's muted. Joey, IRBT, man, it's a 349 high at the moment. We're still waiting for that breach. I'm going to have to pack the patience here. We've done over 100 million shares right now, so I think we got everything fixed with Adara's mic.
Sorry about that, guys. Let's take a look at TOST. Toast, nice push to the upside there. One of many companies that has been at the UPS Tech Conference. Apparently their presentation well received. They are expecting their SMB net location ads in 2026 to be similar to how they've been over the last 2 years. They're not guiding growth, but either way, market doesn't seem to mind too much. Nice push up here for Toast. Back to you.
Hey, Joey, before I send it to you, I just want to mention that there's another small cap gapper that I have on the side chart here that wasn't doing anything. Anyway, 350 on IRBT as I see it here on the black charts, but I'm keeping an eye on QTPB. I believe this one was on the watch list yesterday, and Neil was calling it out as well in the pre. Look, it's not the best looking name. Yeah, this one was moving big boy in the pre yesterday, and then it gave up the entire ghost, basically the whole day. Finding a little bit of a balance. The reason I'm even mentioning it, because it reclaimed the volume weighted average price. It's got a 396 high a day, so essentially resistance at 4. I'm going to be keeping my eye out on this one, as there's really nothing much going on other than KITT and IRBT, and we can't put all our eggs in one basket here, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now I have to look at this IRBT.
It's rocketing up, man.
IRBT and see what we got. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Your friend Donald today, man. He's talking about robotics, and everybody's getting excited.
So, I mean, but Rich Tech isn't even doing anything either, though. Like, do something, my friend. Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, guys, a lot of choppy price action. For me, it's not the best. So considering I'm a breakout trader, I want to look for breaks of support and resistance zones, and I don't think we're going to get that just yet. You can see that Ethereum ETHA here, the ETF continuously moving sideways, chopping up above volume weighted average price, et cetera, and then you can see just a nice channel, but the overlapping candles is what really gets me. I want to see some nice, steady, clean price action where your open is significant, or not significantly, a little bit higher than the close, et cetera, and then you continuously move on. So keep an eye out on that. As for the volume, guys, we'll take a look at some of the top volume names here this morning and see what we got going on. I'm not surprised if Rich Tech is going to be up there and some of the other names, but I'm not seeing any of that as of yet. So 65.4 million shares traded on NVDA. TSLL sitting in that second place. We know that the volume was, TSLL. The volume was relatively quiet yesterday. And then American Eagle sitting around that $24. Watch out, this name might start to break out. But as for these Bitcoin miners, here's Mara doing the exact same thing, up to $12. I swear this thing was $8 just the other day. Yeah, around $9 or so, but a nice bounce. One thing that I want to point out is keep an eye out on this, MSTR. I think there's going to be a good opportunity for a bounce. It's the exact same thing in which we experienced here in Bitcoin.
Where's the coin at?
I probably like 91 or 92.
92 too, Joey?
92 too. So yeah, there you go. So there you go. So not too bad whatsoever. Nice. This is stopping volume. So I think that the downward momentum in MSTR is definitely cooled off for now. If you break that 160 level, watch out, because there's going to be probably that continued momentum. Why? Because you have that stopping volume print being decimated, and sure enough, you have the people starting to cover their long positions rapidly, and that can accelerate the price action. Rapido.
Guys, chat, if there are any Mandarin speakers, I need help. I've been asking people on the floor here, and I'm not getting a satisfactory answer.
Ooh.
So there's two ways to say beautiful, from my understanding, in Mandarin. There's how can, when you refer to objects, and then there's piaoliang. How do I know what context to use which word in? Is it just when you're referring to people or places that you use piaoliang, or and only use how can when you're talking about, an object or whatever? Tag me, please, in the chat. I need answers. ChatGPT sucks. It doesn't give me a specific answer. The people on the floor here, they're not helping me either. One is good looking and one is pretty. Shout out to my man Young Lee, 6'9". He's got 6'9" in his name. There we go. That's what I like there. So so how can is good looking and piaoliang is pretty. Okay, I thought piaoliang was beautiful. Thank you for that. All right, who else, man? Help me out, guys. Help me out, please. How is good. I know that I knew, but I just actually want to know the context in which I'm supposed to use that, because the context here is hard. Homeless guy, 123. How can is good looking, piaoliang is beautiful. That is exactly what I thought, right? Okay. But there's no restrictions on like the context, like objects or anything like that. It's just a matter of one means one thing and one means another, but I can use them interchangeably. Let me know, guys. All right. Yeah, shout out to Airy Pages. It's been a minute, man. It's been almost a year and a half. We've been smashing Mandarin. Man, can I tell you? I'm a little bit, Duolingo's starting to get in my good graces a little bit. Joey might have to punch into that. It's picking up a little bit. So here's what they did. Remember how I told you they would change up the course on you? They wouldn't even let you know, and then you go back to lessons that you already finished, and they were different. Now what they're doing is when they're changing the lessons, they're doing it on a personalized basis, not an entire thing. Okay. So for example, if they added words on chapters or lessons you already completed, they just move it forward to a future lesson. So sometimes you'll find a future lesson with like way more new words than the previous one. That's because they moved up a lot. That I can kind of get behind.
All right, cool.
All right, guys, we're going to have to add some here. We got some on IRBT. Good look. Okay, so we got some here for the move into the 10 EMA. So now my cost basis is no longer 308. It is 316. Let's go ahead and put some beak wetters here in the low 20s, and then we're going to put some in the mid 20s. So we get a 350 move on IRBT. It pulls back quite aggressively from 350 into 310 and holds at the 10 EMA. Let's see if we get a bounce off the 10 exponential moving average and we mosey back up to where we were at around 3.5. There's 323. We got a cross. There's the print, Joey. So we get a beak wetter there. There's 325 now. Seller at 25. Now we're at 26. Can we pump up a little bit more? The sellers are coming in here in the mid 20s. So let's keep an eye on that. But we have we have a hammer candle that's still currently red right now.
Whoa. What did it just print right there?
What do you mean? Oh, there's
316.
another one.
It hit
316. Ah,
there you
I got 318 print there, man. But yeah, good luck there. Happy, Joey. We got some more on IRBT because we had almost exhausted. What's your look?
Good luck. Yeah, so I'm looking to grab something here. I want to post up at some of these base lows. So I was gonna say shout out base guard, but I don't even know what that means at the end of the day. But little B, someone, if you guys listen, if the kids still listen to that guy. All right, so this is what I'm looking at. Ethereum. Do I want to grab a choppy stock? If I'm going to, it's going to be at the lower end of the range right here at around 2320s. And then as for the overall market, we're going to avoid that. When I was off screen yesterday, I actually had a nice short on the TQs that worked out really, really well. We'll look at what I was up to. So it was just essentially off of this signal right, or no, it was this signal right here leading into the close. Boom, and we get that move, which was absolutely phenomenal. Now, as for Tesla, really strong PA today, guys. It's kind of going the opposite of the overall market. You are getting somewhat of a pullback right now, but the continuation in strength, I can see that happening. Katina Man was saying, hey, yeah, you might see an all-time high by next week in Tesla.
Oh, yeah.
Which is 8.3%. Yeah, I mean, it's one catalyst away, right? And I was thinking that we were going to break some of these highs around this neck of the wood street, but it needed to absorb a little bit more liquidity, and now you're heading right back into the range. But this is horrible, right? You're just a couple of months, pretty much since the end of the summer, you were just trading within this, absorbs, and then boom, we might be off to the races. But Bitcoin's starting to climb a little bit higher, guys, and if I'm going to look to take a long, it's definitely going to be in some of the stronger names. We're getting a bounce in Bitcoin. NVDA starting to come off its support level lows. There goes Ethereum. Apple's still relatively subdued, so that's okay. But I just want to stick with the strong names and wait for pullbacks and then bounces off of those levels. Did I hear a Dara in my ear, or?
I think we got crypto, yeah.
No, I don't hear anything there. I'm tapped in. Okay, all right. I see him. Is he there? Yeah, he's there.
Oh.
Or it's Fabian. Okay, no one's talking to me. All right, I'll just talk to myself. Big Joe, what's up? Oh, okay. I heard it over here, so I don't know if you got that over there, Fabian. She's ready for crypto, I'm pretty sure, whenever you guys are. Pardon me. Okay, yeah, anyways, you guys figure out, yeah, okay, let's go over to Adara.
We're going to take a look here at crypto for the crypto segment of the day. Let's take a look at MSTR because we do have some news here on MicroStrategy that is pretty interesting and actually confirmed by both MSCI and Michael Saylor. So apparently, Strategy might be facing some pressure over their long-term positioning with regards to MSCI. They're reviewing if Strategy still actually qualifies for inclusion in some of its major equity benchmark. The decision is going to come by January 15th, so again, about a month from now. We do have Saylor talking currently to the MSCI, they're going to be in discussions there to see what they can come with. Basically, the issue is that Strategy is currently positioning itself as a digital asset treasury vehicle, which MSCI is not a fan of. That, I guess, hews too far from what they're trying to do. So that's why there could be some inclusion issues. Of course, we'll keep you posted as we get any updates, but this is going to be a story to keep an eye on going forward. Also, of course, on watch is going to be Bitcoin, BTC, making a little bit of a topping tail candle here, struggling to get above that 94,000 level, it looks like right now, holding around 92, which was that previous level of resistance going back to last Friday. Let's see how we hold at 92,000. Back to you.
You know what's interesting? I was reading in a little bit of an article, obviously, when Bitcoin was, wetting the bed. And so, everybody's got a theory of why it was selling off. You and I have talked ad nauseum about leverage and all the offshore brokerages and this and that. But there is like this hesitancy for people in Asia, specifically in China, to want to punch into Bitcoin because they're so dissuaded by the regulatory environment there. They don't even want to get in, Joey.
It's not even legal there except for
I don't know if it's illegal. I think there's, yeah, that's the thing. Fabian's saying illegal to mine. I think they were doing that because of the energy. They don't want people energy farming at their place where you would go to the cheapest energy jurisdiction and then, just go in and go gung-ho, right? Yeah. But I want to say something else. China's not the only one where that's an issue. Egypt is the exact same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had rampant inflation, and so people wanted some way to protect their money, right? So that they were buying gold, but then everyone started to be like, okay, let's buy crypto. And the Egyptian government comes in, no, crypto's illegal, right? And so there's all these regulatory environments all over the world where there's money sitting, Joe.
Yeah.
And that money's interested in Bitcoin, and it's not punching in because of the regulatory environment that we can't control. quite frankly. So
Yeah.
that we need to keep an eye on that. We're so myopic, North America, we forget.
That how big, I mean, I think if you go across the pond, there was mass adoption in the crypto space before it even touched the North American shores.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were way ahead of the guns,
Well
and
said,
I think at the end of the day, China was that leader for quite some time because essentially they got that information first, and they were mining and grabbing this stuff hand over fist, and then the government.
And they're early
boom,
adopters too over there. They love tech.
They love
right?
they love the tech.
technology
They
stuff.
love the tech aspect. But yeah, I mean, as for MicroStrategy, I forget who said this the other day, but if it's too difficult to understand the business model of what MSTR is up to, I mean, they're issuing digital credit essentially, then just avoid it. And I've heard multiple analysts and obviously managers saying, man, it's just financial gibberish, essentially, right? Could we be wrong? This is a massive bet on Michael Saylor's behalf, just going all in on Bitcoin. But that's his objective, is to issue digital credit at the end of the day.
Absolutely, Joe. Absolutely. Guys, stopped out of IRBT. It lost the 10 EMA, but I'm keeping my eye out on this one. I only had a couple of outs left, so we won't really give back all that much, to be quite honest. Now we're focused on a couple of things. Firstly, prior bar low. I'm talking about the candle on the 5-minute chart at 11:30. It's a 306 low. This current candle is a 307 low. So we really haven't made a newer low. If we do make a newer low, then I'm looking at 3 to 290. That's my buy zone. Reason is 3, psychological support, of course, the whole dollar, 290 VWAP and my perceived breakout level. Now, if we hold up on this candle and it holds up on the higher low, I'm punching back in. This candle just opened up, so I don't really know if I'm gonna wait the full 5 minutes for this candle to close, or I'm gonna mosey back in and then just give myself a tight stop below prior bar low. That's what I'm thinking about doing right now. Let's see if we can get the fill. It's already going here without me, man. There's a buyer here, there's a seller, I should say, at 15 we're unable to shake. Let's see if we get the ad. Good. So we got 314, so it's super simple. We just go stop 305. And then we won't give it really that much room. Now, if it continues to go and holds up prior bar low, I'm going to add into the position. That, to me, would be a good sign. So we're going to keep an eye out on that, Joey. I don't want to take out too much too quickly over here. I want to build the position well into IRBT. Guys, there's not a whole lot other than this one going on, but I want to bring your attention to Poet. P-O-E-T. This is a former convict for me, and that's just a loving way of saying this one is a former runner. I'm not going to trade this in the same way, if I trade it, I'm not going to trade it in the same way that I would trade IRBT. To me, it looks like a range, an upward channel. You buy towards the low end of the channel, you sell towards the higher end, and you always leave a piece for the dream for the breakout above the upper channel line there. So that I'm keeping my eye on Poet. It's up a respectable almost 20%, 19 1/3. So P-O-E-T in focus for me. I mentioned K-I-T-T. This one is blocked on our system, so I won't be able to mosey on into this one, but I will call it out for you guys if it reclaims the volume weighted average price, which right now it is not. It rejected the dollar, and now it's trading below VWAP. So that ain't the move. Keeping an eye on POET, Joey, and IRBT.
Yeah, good looks there, brother. So the market putting in a new 5-minute high, close to the high of the day, actually. So not a horrible play over there, guys. If you are keeping your eyes on the Nasdaq and the SPY, so 683, you've now breached that Microsoft News 5-minute candle, and now you're starting to head towards that pre-market high. You can see that the Qs are slightly lagging what the SPY is up to. Now, as for IBIT, this is where the ideal entry would have been at the support level. You have a somewhat of an indecision print at the breach of the neckline, and then you start to climb a little bit higher. Now you're starting to punch through the volume weighted average price, but keep an eye on the volume. It's pretty cool right now. So what I'm thinking, right, I'll let the market continuously grind, and if sellers look like they're going to step in, and I can tell by the volume starting to slowly start to diverge, then indecision prints move back in towards the volume weighted average price. Why? Because we see on multiple occasions that we've come in and we've seen touch VWAP, and then we bounce right back off. It was the exact same thing with NVDA, right? So I'm getting this move. We're slightly extended from the volume weighted average price, indecision pin, inverted hammer candle, shooting star doji, whatever you would like to call it, gravestone. And sure enough, we get that move right into that 180.68, and then we're getting a bounce right back towards the close or the open of that candle. But I was talking about a consolidation break in Ethereum. There we go, 23.19. You're now trading approximately 20 cents higher than that specific level. As for Tesla, same thing. Rich Tech Robotics, not doing too much. IRBT, Shreve, you're still sitting in that one. Not too bad, as it's coming off of that $3.50 high roughly. And it might not even hit VWAP because it looks like buyers want to continuously push this up. So a nice steady grinding bid on that front there, guys. So I've taken 2 trades today. I'm patient, I'm gonna be precise and wait for that solid entry. And most definitely gonna be posting up at some key support or resistance levels, looking for that exact fill in which I need. And the risk to reward ratio, obviously extremely important. We went over what we did in IBIT, and it was the exact same thing in NVDA. We're giving this 10 cents. That's all it was. If it were to break that level, and you go, well, Joe, that doesn't make too much sense. It's right in the middle of the range. Well, if it was strong, we have the multiple tests. You have that aggressive selling in the pre-market as well. I'm like, ooh, this is awfully fishy. This is setting up for a nice rally out of the open. And bang, there it goes, 10 cents to give us, what, approximately 70 cents right there. So a 7-to-1 essentially there, Shreve. So not too bad whatsoever. You're saying Ethereum long. I do like that idea, but I'm not going to be buying these highs. Why? Because when you're in just this grinding type price action, buying those breakouts isn't the most ideal until you see that volume step into the market. So right now, I think it's best to post up at resistance level highs and support level lows, guys.
David, tell them to stay away from the con artists near the pyramids. They're horrible people. Horrible. Okay, I'm talking. David's mom and sister are in Cairo right now, and I've had the worst experience every single time. And I speak like fluent Egyptian Arabic. They don't care. They're just out to take your money. Stay the hell away from them. Tell your mom and your sister to not get any guides because they're just going to be looking to rinse them. And that's the truth.
I heard they like lead you to another guy.
Bro, it's like they're all connected. It's a gang, right? It's like, oh, that guy's going to take a picture for you. I want 40 pounds. I want 50 pounds. You get on top of the camel. It's $100 US to come down. Like,
no way, I'd be jumping off that. I'd be jumping off that thing.
Yeah, well, not everybody can. Like, that's the thing, right? Stay away from those people, man. What's that, Ram? Let them make their money by stealing from other people.
Yeah.
Okay. We know how she makes her money now, Joey. We know how she makes her money now.
Ramin's gonna be working at the pyramid.
There goes the IRBT again, Joseph Options. Into 330 again. We got 14s on here. We just wet the beak at 23s. Let's see if this one can mosey on back into the $half, guys. But that's the way it is. Agreed. Yeah. The guides, right? JGH5978. The guides. Yeah, my sweet patootie guides. Anyway, we're going to keep an eye out on IRBT. I weaseled into AVXL. I like the fact that AVXL is putting in higher lows at VWAP, but it's kind of dropped off in terms of volume. Joey would be displeased with the volume profile here. On this one, lower lows and lower highs on the volume profile. We're going to give this one the old college try, but we'll keep an close eye on it. If it loses 434, that's where I put my stop through prior area low, not prior bar low. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on there. I'm exaggerating for effect, of course, brother, when I say $100. I'm Ian Gardner, 69.76, but they do actually try to extort money from you to come off. That's not a joke. That's real life. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out there. Joey.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, guys, I just wrote in the chat, it's a pretty slow one here today, so I'm just going to scroll through some of our scans and see what we got going on. And we're going to put this over to the 5-minute time frame to see for some potential trades. I mean, we're 45 minutes in. I had those 2 trades. I'm looking for something else, but nothing is kind of just grabbing me and saying, hey, man, you got to take this. A lot of just steady sideways price action. Socks out. What are you up to?
What is it up to?
Not too much, brother. A pretty hot mess over there. Intel, there it is, guys. Again, it looks like it wants to break out, but look at the volume as well. I'm not looking for reasons to get out of things, but I just want to find something nice and steady. MRVL, what's this? Valet. All right. Anyways, Netflix. Oh no!
I always get happy when this thing sells off.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm
not a fan.
Why, man?
I got my reasons.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. But is it slightly? Let's be honest now. Is it slightly biased?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is why I don't sit there and rail against it either.
Right?
Okay,
yeah,
it is biased.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Oh, by the way, just in case you guys were curious, I've been sleeping with earplugs in lately because I know a lot of people have been asking me about that stuff. I'm being extremely sarcastic. Dude, the sleep is so much better. So try it out. Put some earplugs in, and yeah, you just put some nice solid deep sleeps. All right, I know no one was curious. I just thought I would mention that, considering. But Wolf, guys, going through my scans, looking for something. I don't see anything at or around the volume weighted average price that I like just yet, but we'll take a look at what Adara has to say for us.
Yeah, keep an eye here on MU. Micron company announcing that they're exiting their crucial consumer business, but they will continue crucial shipments until February of 2026. Apparently, the reason for this is to improve their supply and support larger strategic customers in faster growing segments. MU with some news. Back to you.
Take a look, Neil.
Cool, yeah, thanks. What is it? What are we looking at?
We're looking at ASML.
Oh, ASML,
You see where that one is, Joey?
Where's it at, my boy?
Take a quick look. Go to that daily. Go to that daily. Oh, no.
Oh, my God. ASML, man.
All-time
What is that?
highs.
What is AIML up to, my...
What's AIML?
We're
Is that
still
the,
hovering around. Yeah.
Is that a leverage?
No, it's the AIML. Innovations, the ad read that we do here. So I was just looking at that one. But as for Robinhood, guys, what have we been up to on today's session? Another strong one. Man, oh man, look at, whoa!
What happened?
Shreve. 131 on.
The hood's coming back.
Yeah, brother, it's going nowhere. Listen, Vlad is that guy right now. So keep an eye out on what they're going to. I can't wait till their next earnings report as well, too. So much going on over there, but as for XLF, guys, yeah, I'm just running through these names. I don't see anything that's grabbing me by the face and be like, hey, you got to take this trade. Bitcoin coming back into the volume-weighted average price. IRBT starting to come towards some key support levels.
It is, man. It is. It's right back into my break even, but we did get some out there in the high 20s. Now, look, I'm just placing my stop. I'm moving it every time a new 5-minute candle opens up. I'm just basically putting it at a prior bar low, okay? If it wants to ride trend, we'll ride the trend. If it wants to break down, we'll keep an eye on the key levels that I spoke about earlier. I'm talking about that buy zone. In my opinion, it is a buy zone between 290 and 3. We'll see if it holds up there. We'll see if it even goes down there. So it's at 16s right now. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Big E, 87. I like that. CAPR, say less, my man. We're going to look at it for you right now. CAPR. Let's have a look. Okay. Yeah, I put this one on. Neil mentioned it before they ended their show. This thing was rocketing up to no end. It is coming into that VWAP, though, man. It's got an ascending wedge here. The higher lows are quite evident, as you can see them, but it is fighting right now to get above the volume-weighted average price. I like this area here for a breakout. I'm also quite attentive to the fact that $30 will likely be a key resistance level. Hear me out. Take a look at that bar right there, right at 930 that we rocketed up and then made that $40 high. That's 30 there where it opened up. Take a look at the halt down because we were halted, I believe, for about 15 minutes. When we opened up, we opened right at 30 and we haven't been above 30 cents. So CAPR, that's the chart I'm showing here. Sorry, I didn't put in the ticker. CAPR, in focus for me, but it's really going to have to get above that volume-weighted average price for me to get involved. Also, this is one of those ones where I'll trade with substantially smaller size because it is kind of one of those ones that can rip your face off. if it goes the wrong way against you. CAPR. Yeah, I mean, this thing was closed out yesterday at $6.40. It has a high of, I believe, $40.37 is the high of the day. We're going to keep an eye out on that. Thanks for pointing it out. For whatever reason, I had it on my star chart, then it disappeared. So we're going to take off KIT because we can't trade it. It's blocked, and we're going to put in CAPR. Keeping an eye on that one, Joey. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm just looking at BITO. This offers an insane. We had a friend here that was involved with this name BITO, and it just offers an insane dividend, but you can see just the depreciation within the actual underlying itself, down 47% off of those highs. So keep an eye out on that one. We'll take actually a little bit of a deeper dive into BITO to get at exactly what it is. So the fund seeks capital appreciation. There can be no assurance that the fund will achieve its investment objective. Okay, I don't even know if that's actually, but this seeks to provide capital appreciation primarily through managed exposure to Bitcoin futures contracts. The fund does not invest directly in Bitcoin and may also invest in other instruments, which I find very interesting at the end of the day. But I'm looking at some things, guys. We're starting to get the pullbacks that we want. Here it is off of the highs in the TQs. Oh, dare we take a potential short. It worked for us yesterday. We took a couple attempts on it. Some nice topping signals running into pre-market lows, which could be acting as potential resistance as we're seeing right now. So there it is. Multiple touches at that specific level. If we continue to hold and we fail to breach this 622.65 level, I'm going to wait until we've established another 5-minute candle, curl over, open up a little bit lower, and then maybe, just maybe, Sharif will be fortunate enough to get that move back towards the volume-weighted average price. And this is what I was talking about. I don't think... Again, I think that buying high and selling higher is a pretty good strategy, in my opinion. If you look at all-time breaks.
In a trending market, Joey.
In a trending market, right? But there's a time and a place for everything, right, Sharif? And I don't think that this, in today's, what we're experiencing today, it's relatively quiet. Look what the market has been doing. This isn't the time to buy higher and sell higher just yet. I could be totally wrong. So what we want to do is we want to post up at lows or post up at highs and wait for that extreme level to come into play and then take that move a little bit lower. But what we're seeing established here is another lower high on NVDA, punching through the volume-weighted average price once again. 180.19 is going to be a key support level. If that breaks and you see the momentum and the volume really start to pick up, then you can maybe get that continuation to the low of the day, which is going to put us roughly around 179.12. So that gives you a little bit over $1. Oh. But this is why I did not buy the volume-weighted average price. Look at the difference in the momentum push through the pre-market highs in IBIT 5 minutes out of the gate. And then sure enough, look at it now. The gas, I like what Brian Shannon said the other day. It's just essentially you're running on fumes, essentially. When you see that volume starting to diverge from price action and prices going up and the volume starting to stair-step down, it's running on fumes, essentially. And you want to be patient enough, sit on your hands, and wait for things to turn around. And that's what we're doing right now. 286.28, Sharif, Apple, but this thing has been monstrous as of late. It's really tough to short it. But if it does want to come back into the middle of this range, you might be able to get 285s roughly. And I think that's going to be on a good day.
All right, I want to mention Poet. I brought this to your attention earlier as a possible upward channel kind of range trade. Look what it does. I mean, I didn't draw this trend line when the price action was here. I really didn't. It actually rejected that trend line. It's on its way back down. And funny enough, it just bounced off the lower trend line. Let's take a quick long here on Poet. Yep, there we go. Now, what's the deal? What am I doing? I'm going to get out if it loses VWAP. That's simple. So VWAP is at 38s. We just punched into 46s, so that's not too much a risk. Let's throw in the stop order right now so we can mitigate any down moves. All right, let's post here, and then we're going to throw in some orders, Joey, just so we can capture maybe a nice price spike up on the Poeted one over here. So let's keep an eye out on that. CAPR, by the way, just got, I believe, above the volume weighted average price. High of the current candle is 29.40, but still south of 30. I want to see what it does with 30 bucks, okay? I'm going to be quite insistent over here that it clear 30 and clear 30 decisively. That doesn't mean that if it clears 30, it won't have any bamboozlement. Sometimes, in fact, there's a specialist breakout that gets you lured in, like a bull trap, right? Everybody's looking at that 30 key resistance level, gets above 30, only for you know exactly what to happen after. So that is part and parcel of trading these small cap gappers. The fact that they have smaller floats and can be manipulated a little bit more easily. You take that risk when you do trade them. So keep that in mind. So CAPR certainly in focus for me over here. The spread is reasonable for a name that's doing this kind of movement. It's 9 pennies. I've seen it as wide as 15, 20. That's okay, right? Because you're going to get sometimes 50 pennies within a move, sometimes even $1 within a move. So let's pack our patience on this one. I don't want to be quick to jump in quite yet on CAPR, but I've definitely got my eye on it. If it breaks out, we'll have a look at that. Above $30 is what I'm looking at. We're going to pause for a second. We're sending it to the big desk.
Boeing struggling a little bit here. BA pulling back quite sharply from some strength yesterday. Newest headline, FTC saying that they're going to require Boeing to divest several Spirit assets in order to proceed with the merger. So yeah, some FTC comments here on BA, sending Boeing just a bit lower. Back to you.
Airlines.
No, Air Systems.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
They used to own them, Joy. They divested them back in 2005.
Okay.
They make a lot of their components.
What's the Jets, right? JETS.
Yeah, the ETF for the airplane?
Yeah. Jets. JETS. Man, oh man. Oh,
Wow.
okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not horrible, Sharif. Some nice steady price action on the 5-minute. Very e-liquid, though. We can see that. But hey, I'm pretty sure this might be all-time highs. Please work for me. Oh, no, not quite yet. What's Mike P saying in the chat?
He's an air nerd.
He's an air nerd?
I like Mike P. DeRuyter.
Yeah, I like Mike P. I would like
good
to meet that
vibes.
guy. Yeah, he's always giddy. I like it when he says, "I'll be right back." And then he's like, "I'll be right back." And then literally the next he's typing into the chat 2 seconds later. So yeah, funny guy. And the preloaded messages get me.
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't know he preloads the message?
No, you told me that,
Yeah,
though,
I'm
but
like,
I
bro,
didn't
how do you
actually know
type
that.
so fast? He's like, nah, I preload the message.
That's cap, man. No, he doesn't. They're contextual. There can't be preloaded. How? We're talking
Bro,
about
he probably has a couple chats up here. He's like, all right, yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
clever.
boom, have a chat up over here, a chat up over here.
Okay.
So then boom, he's hitting them left, right, and center. Boom. Okay, there goes Apple, guys, towards some key support levels. Yes, he's probably doing that. It works, he says. So there it is. Watch out for that pre-market low to start to be broken. If there is, there might be some more downward momentum in AAPL, and you're getting NVDA towards some key support levels as well. So it worked once. Maybe we take another stab at this name, but we know that we have that news on Microsoft. Not necessarily the case. Hey, listen, Shreve, I'm just gonna call it how it is. There might be a little bit more downside here on NVDA. I just don't like this consolidation. The longer it takes for us to continue that move higher, the more probability, in my opinion, that we get a little bit of a break below 180s, maybe even to 170s in the 160s, in my opinion. Not right now, but maybe before the earnings report. Send it into a nice bounce after they report.
I like the real Gary F. Sharif, Carney pumping BAM today. Come on, man. I like Mark Carney, man. I think he's doing a good job. I think he's got a tall task to get the country back in good shape, but I think he's doing all the right things. BAM obviously is Brookfield Asset Management. It's up 1.5%, $87 billion market cap. Having a good day, Joey. It was closed at 52.20, high a day today, I believe 53 low teens. So we're gonna keep an eye on this one. I'm unlikely to want to trade it, of course, BAM, but I do appreciate your joke, of course. Shout out to the real Gary F, my man. All right, what else we got here, Joey? I'm still keeping an eye here on IRBT. It is very consolidative. It has a buyer. It looks like two bottoming tail candles in a row. I'm talking about the 1150, 1155 candles. They're being bought up quite aggressively off that 3 mid to low teens. But you're really not getting any direction at the moment. In fact, if you really stare at it a little bit more, you still are getting lower highs. So I'm talking about that topping tail candle, 1120, that's 350 high. Then you have a lower high at 1140. The topping tail there is into 329, and you haven't really been above that since. So I'm gonna keep my eye on our IRBT. I feel it still may have more to go, but I don't really have to be first into this one. So we're gonna keep an eye out on that. I just want to add a little bit more here into Poet, and then we're going to change the stop on this one on that. What do you got, Joey?
Yeah, no, I'm just listening to Hearst. It's hard to be worse than that guy. I think it's pretty impossible. You could have put a monkey in off. I shouldn't say that, but anyway. Okay, all right.
I wonder who he's talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, man. Hey, listen, shout out to him. He's out in
Oh,
Japan
boy.
doing his thing with his girlfriend and all that stuff. So let him keep him over there. But anyways, guys, all right. What happened?
You.
Why?
Keep him over there. This
Yeah,
guy, bro.
yeah.
He's holding no punches.
Yeah, no, exactly. All right, Dave. Thank you to Sharif. Bad dates. Indiana Jones inspired trade of the day. Quantum short. Thank you all. Thank you, Dave, as usual,
man.
for those super chats, brother. Much appreciated. Always, as Bitcoin and a lot of the market, this is what I was talking about. So I didn't get that retest, which I was looking for. It just decided to tank altogether. So pre-market support, acting as that resistance level, and now you come in and you tap right back into the volume-weighted average price. And guess what? You get that bounce that you've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is the 7th time you're getting that volume-weighted average price bounce. And I'm just going to look to continue the downwards momentum. Apple putting in some potential bottoming signals as well too, guys. But we want this 5-minute candle to print first, and we're right into those pre-market supports. So I like our chances. You can keep that risk profile relatively defined, right? So you want to give it a little bit of breathing room. So if you're looking to enter around 285.80s, you can give that around 40 cents, and that's going to give you enough room, because if it breaks support, the chances are of it continuing that way are relatively high. And you don't want to be super tight to those support levels, because it could just do that additional liquidity grab, and then next thing you know, the stock skyrockets in your favor. So that's why you want to give that a little bit of breathing room. Did I hear something from you there, Assassino? It was a little mumble there. All right, cool. So guys, we're going to send it off to Adara with happening now in the Neo with his lesson of the day.
What's happening now is a very nice recovery from the lows here for the Nasdaq. Here are the Qs, I guess, bouncing pretty nicely, finding support around 618. Now, what was the reason for this drop? We know that around 9 a.m., the information reported that Microsoft was lowering its AI sales quota. Microsoft coming out around 10:30 or so, telling CNBC that's actually not true. We have not lowered this quota. So market trying to push right back higher with that story in mind. I do have to keep you guys posted on what's happening later in the day. At 2:30 p.m., we are going to be getting an announcement from President Trump. Now, reportedly, this announcement is going to involve sharp reductions in fuel economy requirements. We know that CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, said earlier today that he's going to be meeting with the president and U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. Ford stock did get a bit of a spike when that happened, so I would keep an eye on TSLA, GM, and maybe even STLA, Stellantis, with this meeting in mind. Now, the other thing that's been on watch, so many earnings reports. And, you know, I guess it's debatable if American Eagle has great genes, but I will say they had a pretty great report today for AEO. That's for sure. They were not the only day one earnings play on watch. Others included MRVL, CrowdStrike, Asana, and GitLab, as well as Macy's and Dollar Tree. Then tonight, after the bell, we'll be getting reports from CRM, Snowflake, C3AI, and UiPath. So tons of earnings on watch. There's a mini resurgence of earnings seasons here. Before we send you over to Neil and what is sure to be an exciting lesson of the day, we'll take a moment to thank our friends at Origenics. Concussions demand fast solutions. NYSE-listed Origenics, OGEN, is developing one designed to reach the brain quickly and non-invasively. And you can learn more by scheduling a meeting today. Back to you and Neil and his lesson.
Thank you very much, Adara. And you saw this morning, as Adara mentioned, that Microsoft's headline really changed things. So, you know, a lot of traders, and ourselves included here, you come in, you prep, you have your note out, you have your ideas, your levels, maybe a bit of a bias, kind of looking at some long plays, jokingly enough. And then all of a sudden this happens. And then all that preparation, well, not all of it, to a certain degree, it can go out the window. So what do you do? And I'm just going to show, like, for myself, it just turned into, okay, well, I like some longs that I think are affected by this move. So now all of a sudden, I have to wait to anchor to something. And so the two names I went for was NVIDIA at the 180 level, and then, of course, Microsoft, where this all started. And I'll give you a quick look. Anything in the tech space, I wasn't long a single thing in the tech space until two things happened. One, here's when Microsoft's news dropped, right about 9 o'clock. Difficult to see, but if you can look at each bounce, even in the pre-market, these are dark pool wicks, it was fading this trend line, which connects with the open, holding trend line, and on a 3-minute chart, 954 is the first close, that 3-minute bar above the trend line. And I go over to NVIDIA, and I said this morning I'm also going to anchor to the 180 level on NVIDIA. Now, I was back and forth at the 180 level, and that same 954 candle, this is it retaking 180. Strongest green candle that it had. Now, obviously, there were better places to have gone long in Intel. I could have been long Intel at the low, but what hadn't happened yet? I bought into the stock I was looking long when those other two anchors gave me a reason to get in. And that ultimately ended up being like, I could have had this long here, I suppose, which would be just as good. But that was what you were gonna get. Unless I was guessing at the bottom, I was waiting for confirmation from the two things that were leading that market move to the downside, in my opinion. And when they showed me that we're back above support in NVIDIA's case and breaking trend, then I could go, okay, well, now I'm just gonna look for long. It happened to be VWAP on Intel. And it, just to show you, it had nothing to do, it wasn't all to do with just it being a chip name, because on silver, I was also waiting. Now, I ultimately could have gone long silver like right off the bat at VWAP. But again, I was waiting for us to make a definitive bottom. And unfortunately, at 9:54, I was over on Intel, so I don't get this low when both those indicators turn. But now I'm just waiting for my chance, right? So looking for my chance after I think the longs can start to come in, because the main reasons why we're headed down had shown some signs of strength. First available trade to me was this little bit of a trend break, and it went to the high, and that's all you could get. Could have maybe rinsed and repeated that trade. But I think that the real point comes down to, you can have news that happens, maybe you're not expecting it. I don't think anybody was expecting that headline in the morning. And it can maybe blow up what it was that you were previously looking at. Now, it could have been easy to just, okay, well, where's the short? What am I doing for the short? Or, okay, let's just be a little bit more patient. There's still stocks or in this particular case, silver is not a stock. There's still things that I want to go long in. I just have to wait for the right signal to take my shot, and it might not have great follow through because the sentiment is in the other direction. So the first thing is, do not necessarily throw out all of your plan, because you might have a situation where the things that you liked for longs, even when the market's going down, can still be a little bit relatively strong. That was the case in Intel. But you can also find a situation where you get that bottom or you get that support in whatever it might be that's leading the charge, and then that gives you some easy setups. And if you're already tracking those names, you can quickly find the entry points that are gonna work for you. The other side to that coin, I think, would be, and it's gonna sound obvious, but let's be real. If you do attempt to trade, let's just say like the big catalyst, whether it's NVIDIA or whether it's Microsoft, I'm going to use NVIDIA as the example here, because I think that's what people care about. It is very easy to get chopped up. And what I would suggest, if you're trading on this news, say you were trying to peg the 180 bottom, it was just an absolute choppy mess. Ultimately, it holds 179. But if you're trying to play off 180, I think I said pretty much almost every single candle, if not close to every candle on a 3-minute from the open until we turned, was breaking 180 at some point. And so when you have a level like that, like I was using that level not to say I'm going long every single time it broke. Like I was waiting until it had definitive move away from it. So I think if you were trading off that level here in NVIDIA, your best guess is to have, if you're not using trend reversals, even that wasn't super clean, is dabble with fewer shares if you could, to understand that you might have to have a wider stop because of that absolute choppy mess. Now, personally, I elected to wait till the chop was gone and it made some kind of a distinct turn. Let's go long in the things we like to long. But if you are wrapped up in NVIDIA is the one that you want to be in, it required you to have a wider stop if you were trading off the 180. Like yesterday, it goes to $180. You can see it. Like that's as clean as it gets off 180 at about 11:30. Here off the open, okay, did it eventually hold 180? I would grant you yes, but not without rinsing you back and forth. You could have easily had 4 or 5 failed trades on NVIDIA trying to play it off the 180 level. And so in a situation where you do have an out of nowhere news story, you can't get super anchored to price, like specific prices. I think it's better off if maybe you can find a moving average you like, or I like trend lines, or just go with a really, really wide stop on less shares. Like if you normally would trade 180 with a 30 or 40 cent stop on 100 shares, then understand you're risking 30, 40 bucks there. So if you're gonna risk $1, then you just gotta use less shares. You gotta be able to use much less shares in that situation. So you make that kind of adjustment if you can. Otherwise, allow for an obvious setup to happen. I saw a lot of people in the chat that were like, man, this is too much of a choppy mess. I'm going to sit this one out. I traded fewer symbols today than most other days, but I feel like when this happens to us, when this happens in the morning, unless you happen to magically have been short or caught an early pre-market short on Microsoft, sometimes your best bet is to wait until things become a little bit more clear. Take your shot when they do, and you take what you can get at that particular point. Like, these types of things don't happen very often to a major name like Microsoft, where it's going to turn most of the market of what you were looking at. And when they do, you just have to do the best with what you can. Because the day that you were envisioning was going to happen is not here anymore, unfortunately. Right? Like, I can look at what was all my preparation. This is what happened overnight. These were all the earnings named. These are the levels. All of that has now changed fundamentally because of a news story. So you can either adjust to it or you can sit on your hands. I mean, either one is perfectly fine. And just as long as you don't get yourself chopped up in that mess, because it was really difficult. You probably saw fewer actual tech trades on the first 15 minutes of this show than you've ever seen, because it was so choppy. And I think that was the right response, and being patient with it. So there's your simple lesson of the day. Thankfully, it seems as there's a little bit of a recovery happening. I don't know if we can hold green on the Nasdaq here. We're at least holding VWAP as it is on both. Microsoft's holding VWAP, the Nasdaq's holding VWAP. I think that's going to be pretty key here throughout lunchtime. And by the way, I'll just give the update. The lunch is actually really good. Really good.
Good. You and I were just back there looking at it. It's basically chicken and a whole bunch of mixed veggies, and I can certainly get behind that. Obviously, right?
Yeah. Chow wasn't a big fan of it.
Well, Chow, yeah. Well, I like Chow. He helps me with the Mandarin. That's why I like him. He's also a great algo guy.
Yeah, highly intelligent.
He speaks Portuguese, Assassino. That's crazy.
Does he?
He lived in Brazil for a year.
Oh, did he?
I didn't actually know that. I'm going to pretend like you didn't tell me so I can surprise him. Right?
All right.
Thank you, Assassino, for that.
Big smile. I don't even see you in the chat, brother.
Hold on. We got to show Big Smile. So I took permission from him. This is the Big Smile clan over there. So there's him and the kids. Assassino, can we do this camera over here? There we go.
Yeah, there's that.
No, we're not going to get that. But
yeah.
then this is the one that I really wanted to show over here, Joey.
Yeah.
Big Smile, he's a happy guy most of the time. I don't know why he's looking at it like this. Big Smile, why were you so upset in this picture, bro? You look like you're delusioned or something. Put it back a little bit. There we go. Oh, there we go. Look at him, man. What is going on? I gotta love the blue though, Big Smile, man. We love you, brother.
Is he wearing a one piece there?
He is. That's his no, actually it's not. You can see he's wearing shorts. He's wearing pants there.
He's wearing.
Shout out to my man, Big Smile.
Yeah.
Always doing the most in a great way, man.
That guy up,
he's always chirping us constantly. Yeah. And I like him.
You need to lock that guy up, man.
Lock that guy up. Why?
Yeah.
He called you. He has so many names for you.
Yeah.
He has Welcher, Joseph Welcher, or whatever, and then there's LJS.
Yeah,
Tell the Welcher to quit ignoring me in the chat.
No, I would never ignore you, brother.
We love you, brother.
In the chat. Okay, guys, I need to listen, Sharif. I'm starting to get that Tyrone Bingham's itch right now. I need a trade here, man. We're rocking and rolling today. You're not giving me the call outs on the small caps. Yeah, I know, trade. I need a trade, man. Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, I got nothing going on, and just time's just slowly dragging on. But it's not good. You don't want to force anything. You see, I'm all antsy and I'm looking for something to trade. Chances are it's going to get me into something and I'm going to get a little bit more frustrated with that. All right, man. You know what, Sharif?
Yes, sir.
No.
What happened,
Joey? It's okay, brother. I was going to say, yeah, let's just do it. Let's party a little bit here. Oh, there goes a little spike in Bitcoin, Sharif. So that I get party on Wayne and party on Garth. We're going to start really small here, considering we're just punching in at the highs. If it breaks 52.40 and we come down into 52.30s, I'll add a little bit more size. So I'm like 1/10 of a risk unit right now just to get the ball rolling, a small feel. And if that momentum, which we've seen in the lower time frames, really start to pick up, then I think this can give us a solid opportunity to add more shares.
That's what I want to hear, Joey. That's what I want to hear. All right, guys, look. IRBT is still in a downward channel. I've been watching this one. I've got orders on, but the trend is what it is, and I'm a market observer, not a market mover, and this is still putting in very clearly lower highs. Now, you know, you don't want to be like, oh, that's going to flat bottom break, despite the fact that, yes, it does look very similar to a flat bottom break pattern, but the area where you see the pattern on the chart is also very operative, right? So if we see it, you know, at VWAP or at an area low, then that's when we're talking flat bottom break. Here, to me, this just looks like a bull flag consolidation area, and we always say this, and I always say this anyway, no two bull flags are created equal. They all look a little bit different. Some, you know, are more sporadic in their ranges. Some hold very true, like this one here, just holding the trend line. So I'm keeping my eye on this, you know, very clear lower high pattern on the 5. If that breaks, we'll get back involved in that bad boy there. But there goes Poet. POET, I'm trading this, as I explained earlier, as an upward channel range. What do we got on? We got 42s, Joey. Let's wet the beak here into the area high. I've got orders as well north of 50. I should probably have one just south of 50 here at 49 in case a $0.50 seller comes in, and it's happened before. Take a gander at what happened over here at 11.05, 11.0 whatever 4. It popped into 50, dropped all the way back down into the mid 30s. So we know that 50 penny area can come in as a local area of resistance. Keeping my eye here on Poet, trading it a little bit differently than I typically would some of these small cap gappers as a result of its unique characteristics, which is basically an upward channel. And that's the way I see it. Sub 16 1/3, good look for this one. Not really interested in adding too much. I mentioned this one in the chat when Neil was dropping his lesson of the day. MCRP. This is on the Amex network. Two things about that. One, you don't want to disparage an entire exchange, but some of the bamboozlers always seem to live on this network here. 1. 2, it's south of $1, or was south of $1. It's trying to mosey its way back and hold above $1. That's number 2. Number 3, if this one halts, we will have to fly blind during the halt. We will not get the theoretical auction price, the tap, during the halt on the New York Stock Exchange listed stocks or the Amex Exchange listed stocks, only on the Nasdaq. So MCRP, keeping an eye out on this one. I like the 97.5 penny area, between 97.5 to $1, because that's where I perceive the breakout area to be. The 10 EMA, in fact, is at that 97.5 period. It is up 28.1/5% on the day. It's not a bad looker, but I'm hesitant to trade it just because at that dollar area, it's on the Amex, etc. So I'm going to keep my eye on it, okay? I'm also still very interested in CAPR. CAPR still trading below $30. It's got a hell of a lot of higher lows. So, you know, you could say to me, Sharif, what the hell are you doing, bro? You're sitting there taking pennies on these other ones. This one's giving you dollars. Well, you're absolutely right, but that's not always the case with these ones that are trading below VWAP. Some of them will get into, you know, a key area and then all of a sudden drop when they're below VWAP, and that's because, to me, that sort of shows that the sellers, at least for the moment, are in control and not the buyers. So I'm going to wait until it clears $30, and then we can have a bit of a different discussion about this one. This is obviously a rocket ship. It's up 360%, and it's like $11 below the high. Okay, so make of that what you will. All these prints here, these are official prints. These are not pre-market highs. These prints up here at the day's highs took place during, I believe, 9:35 and 9:40. So during regular market hours, we'll have to see what CAPR has to offer. Joseph.
All right, man. Well, hey, you gotta read the chat. Yeah, we got Trader TV live in the chat.
Is that Ram?
Yeah, just making.
Is she being mean to everybody like she usually is?
Making some absurd comments in there. I don't know.
Absurd comments.
He's like, long AEO, I want jeans from Joey. I'm like, how do you get jeans as well, too? And she's like, well, if anybody's betting around here, I still benefit.
Joey.
Yeah.
We got to iron out some of the details here, okay?
Yeah.
So we did a little bit of a search, and we found out the most expensive jeans at American Eagle Canada are about 150. They're like 140s, but we, you know, with the 13% tax that we have to pay on everything here, it'll be a little bit more expensive. That's one.
You got the pack covered, right?
No, I don't have nothing covered, bro. Hold on. The thing is, though,
what is it?
you guys know that I had to pay your friend Joseph Options over here a cool 150 for his win on the Bitcoin bet. So let's just end the story here.
No,
I don't
no.
want the jeans.
You
I
know?
want a full receipt, not a gift receipt, and it needs to be paid in cash so that when I go back to return the jeans, they don't ask me for the card that it was paid with, Joe.
So you want gift receipt and card, right? I pay it on
and
card.
cash. And cash.
So
you gotta pay it cash.
Card.
No, man, you gotta pay it cash.
And gift receipt.
And I
got it.
Oh, this guy, you're killing me now, man.
However you want to do it, man. We'll set it up.
Nah,
Listen,
we're playing around,
you paid your dues, brother. So whatever you request, we can help you out with
We're
a little
having a
bit
good
there. We'll get that done. Ram, I can maybe work something out as well too. Just let me know about the salmon that you got going on for lunch. How'd you get that?
I know. I think she asked
Yeah,
specifically for seafood. You can ask Raquel for that.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna. Hey, if I can modify my own menu, that'd be pretty.
You can.
Cool. All right. Hey.
He had tilapia yesterday, as Assassino said. So I don't know if you want all the seafood, Joey. Because
No, but I already put in the request for no tilapia.
tilapia,
tilapia. So if we can get that on the salmon, but what we got is selling a little bit of Bitcoin right here, guys. This is what I'm talking about. Starting really small, and then you can see that we were rejecting some key resistance zones around 52.65. Now I'm gonna post up at 52.20s. That's gonna be a key support level as well. So if all of these levels are breached, the thing is though, you have to take into consideration my risk to reward ratio is just, it's not good whatsoever right now, considering buying the top end of the range, and then now I'm posting up lower. One thing is that if I do start to take profits and we are fortunate enough to get a bounce off of 52.20, then it'll be first in, first out. So I'll remove these shares, and then this will be our Rockin' and Roller. But that's a good movie too, Rockin' Rolla, for those who are familiar with that one. Good English movie. So there it is, 52.37 is where we're currently trading at, bouncing off of support levels as the SPY looks like it wants to break out, Sharif, and the Nasdaq also heading towards the high. Guys, we were talking about this how long
Nasdaq's
ago?
gonna go green.
Yeah, dude, another bounce, a beautiful bounce off of the volume weighted average price in the triple Qs. Another bounce off of the volume weighted average price in the SPY. So, I mean, hey, anything can happen in this market, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Stick to the guns. If these big boys are continuously grinding higher, find the path of least resistance, and it's gonna make your life significantly easier. Much easier said than done, obviously.
Well said, Joe. All right, and now, for some exciting news out of Canada for the sophisticated traders on the stream. It's by Beta Pro Global X Canada, which is Canada's largest provider of leveraged inverse and inverse leverage ETFs. And they've just launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs. They're offering their clients 3 times bull as well as 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60. They're offering it on semiconductors and, of course, on U.S. Treasuries. And if you want even better, they've got better. In fact, they're offering a special fee rebate, and they're dropping the management fees down to just 65 basis points, but it is a limited time offer ending New Year's Eve. Yes, December 31st, 2025. Plus, the U.S. focus strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for pure performance and exposure, no Forex headwind. So if you're a tactical and you're a sophisticated trader and you're looking to amplify your performance, you need to check out betapro.ca/3x daily to learn more. Shout out to Beta Pro, man. All right, Joey, here we are. Poet is treating me well, baby. Here comes that $50, and there it is, Joey, taking out my order at 49s. Let's go ahead and post here. Oh, we already got an order. We're gonna go ahead and post up a little bit higher at 59s, Joey. So from Beta Pro to...
Guys, I just found something crazy. I'm digging into exchanges and stumbled across BTCC. Top 30 globally. But here's the wild part. Crazy. BTCC has never been hacked. That's crazy. While major exchanges keep getting wrecked. BTCC stays untouched, 0 KYC. If you know your customer, 0 know your customer, Sharif. If you're in US, Canada, or Europe, Canada or Europe, Trader TV, you get 100 USDT coupons for registering 15+% bonus. Thing that covers losses up to 15K. Seriously, what am I missing here? Scan the QR code for more information.
Joey, I gotta interrupt. MCRP is breaking out, guys. Here we go. It is back above the dollar, and it is now a penny or two below the high of the day. MCRP on the MX network. It's up 34 2/3, and it's about to take out prior area high, which, as I mentioned, is 108. Keep your eye out on this one. It looks pretty good, but it's the exchange, really, to be quite honest with you, that always dissuades me from wanting to get involved with this one. But look, if it clears the dollar by a fair amount of distance, then we can start basing our trades off that dollar, and I'm going to get involved with this one. So let's see what this one has to offer. It's only done 5.4 million shares on the day, and the reason I say only is because it's a buck, right? So typically the ones that are a little bit cheaper, they do higher volumes. So let's keep an eye out on this one. I want to mention it to you guys. It's got a good chart pattern, and so far, I'm not saying this is going to continue to do it, but so far, it has respected intraday technical levels of support. Take a gander here at 90 pennies, area rejection in the pre, area rejection again between, I want to say 950 till 1025. It clears it. It clears it at 1120. Then what does it do? It starts using 90 pennies as that support area. So be on the lookout here. MCRP, possibly a good one. It's dilly-dallying, though, right back into that buck. What the hell is this, Joey? Why does a dollar stock have a 5-penny spread? Okay, I take back everything I just said on this one. No, I'm kidding. I exaggerate for effect. But the fact that it has a 3, 4, 5-penny spread at a dollar, it's done 5.5 million shares on the day. That is a little bit unusual. Joey.
Yes, sir.
What are we talking about?
Listen, for too long, brother, trading meant risking your own money or never having enough to start. The fear of losing, that's what kept so many traders on the sidelines. But that's changing. Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the markets. With its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. When you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. No fear, no barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off. All right. Whoa, yeah. I mean, listen, SPY, HOD, Hughes, HOD. What else do we got going on? NVDA is still hovering around the lows. What is Apple doing? Still relatively cool. MSFD, has that fully recovered from the news this morning? Not quite, but a solid move. You can see the volatility and the momentum. Okay, I know, I'm sorry about that, but we forgot about it. I'm just curious. Let me know if you're going to have that, all right? 478.45 all the way up to 483.30s. That's not too bad whatsoever. So yeah, we're gonna continue. Look at just how we're just trading within this range. So I have this posted up here at 52.20s. Not necessarily gonna catch a fill, but what I will do is just go 52.37s for a little bit more size there, guys. And chances are, if we're gonna continuously just move around, ebb and flow within these specific zones, I like our chances. So I will add double the amount in which I have currently right now. So it would be roughly a 200% increase of my position.
All right, guys, I think IRBT may be changing its tune. We've got a 3 green candle in a row set up right now, but we're having trouble with that pesky 20 penny area again on IRBT. So here's what I'm talking about, the 3 candle setup bottom chart, guys. As you can see, my 5-minute chart on the bottom, always my top chart will be the 1 minute. So I'd like for this one to clear 320. And, you know, even maybe a little bit above that, and then we'll get involved with this one. But I don't want to give too much back on IRBT. It's my winner on the day. I don't want to give back on it. So let's pack the patience over here and let it clear. Now, if I don't get a good enough price or as good of a price as I could have gotten, and that's the cost of doing business. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. Outlawed Trader, Sharif, Joe, check out ASAN, A-S-A-N. Say less, my man. You instruct. And we oblige. ASAN, okay, not a bad looker. Certainly some higher lows, I can already see that with a possible, I don't want to say flat top break, but there is certainly resistance at 14.25. What did this one do yesterday? Okay, so this one clearly had something in the aftermarket, likely an earnings winner. Let me just take a quick look about this one. I'm seeing upgrades, which usually means that it reported yesterday. Yes, okay, they had non-GAAP EPS, 7 cents, beat by 1 penny, so it's an earnings winner from yesterday. What is this company?
Quite easy.
ASAN, enterprise work management software platform, enables organizations to align work goals, coordinate cross-functional work, gain visibility, yada, yada, yada. Okay, it's not a small cap gapper. It is a $3.3 billion market cap, so I'm gonna steer clear of this one, but hey, the chart pattern is what it is. And take a look, by the way, when we popped up into that high in the aftermarket yesterday to 14 3/4, we ended up dropping back down. But we continued to trade into the aftermarket, and then 1420 seemed to be a local area of resistance, and that is continuing today. You breached it very momentarily. I want to say at around 950, dropped all the way back down, held that 13, I want to say 13 3/4, and then you had another attempt at it at 1040, which rejected. Here we are again, right back at 14 1/4, 14 1/5. Let's see if it clears. It's got a good little buy signal on it here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 green candles in a row for this bad boy. ASAN, earnings winner from yesterday, and it was running up too into earnings, by the way, so somebody was buying this up quite aggressively yesterday. ASAN, not a bad look here, Joey. IRBT still not clearing 320. How's my poet doing? Oh, we're above 50 now. Let's wet that beak. We're going to take some profits there. We're going to cancel the prior order above, and we're going to move it a little bit more, a little bit higher.
Oh. A lot of people. Oh, yeah. Netflix is at the volume-weighted average price, folks. Looking like it does want to recover. We're getting a nice pop in Microsoft. I think that's adding a lot of positivity to the overall market. I'm doing good than you for asking. Okay, Ozan. Oh, it's Ozan.
So
yeah.
needy.
Yeah.
If Ramram's not responding to him in the chat, then you know he
like,
starts picking on us.
Yeah.
Right?
He's like, what the hell? Maybe I was a little crush.
Yeah, you need to be a little bit nicer to him, Ram.
Ozan.
Ram?
Not allowed talking.
He's always so soft. Hi. There we go.
Hi,
Good
what's
job,
up, bro?
Ram.
Oh, that's Mike Peter Ryder, man. I haven't really hit too many things today. I don't know. I'm just feeling. You know what we haven't hit in quite some time, Sharif? Today has.
Oh,
been pretty solid.
I know one here, Joey.
Which one?
By the power of Grayskull.
Look at all the money flowing.
And Katina Man was talking about He-Man this morning. I kept yelling at you to hit the thing. By the way, they're right here, just in case, you know, that happens.
I just in case I ever need He-Man. All right, man. Yeah, let's go. Come on. If anybody's ever been to, have you ever been to the horse races, Sharif?
I've been to Woodbine Racetrack.
Yeah, you've been go to
absolutely.
the D-Gens with their programs. Like, come on, Seven. Come on, Seven.
Betting on the ponies?
I used to, yeah.
Did you bet on the ponies?
Yeah, but way back in the day. Dude, when I was 18, the day I turned 18, my buddies went to Georgian Downs in Barrie.
I love that one off the 400.
Yeah, off the 400.
So good. I love that.
Your degeneracy. Oh, man.
Get it, Joey.
Yeah, let's go, man. We're going to add a little bit more here. Nothing substantial, but the volume is starting to come in. Let's add some more shareagery. Let's break through. That's what I'm thinking here today, guys. Is that who knows what can happen? Bitcoin might get a breakout. This is a solid consolidation. As long as we don't get an aggressive sell-off, then I like our chances for the breakout. You're welcome, I guess, Captain Obvious, but I do like our chances. Have been strong the past couple of sessions, and we want to stick with the strength. And if we do happen to be wrong, that is totally fine. Okay. But I was curious about this volume print. I'm like, what the hell is going on over here? Yeah. I was like, what the hell is going on over here? That's a substantial amount of volume on that 1 minute print. And then sure enough, we haven't really continued after that. So something fishy going on, but I do like our chances. Have you ever done any like deep sea fishing or anything like that?
No, we went fishing in Cabo, but like, I don't know if that's deep sea.
Well, yeah, I don't know, maybe. I guess so. Did you catch anything?
Obviously.
Yeah, did you catch anything?
I didn't catch anything, no, but a lot of other people did.
Oh, really?
I was talking more than that.
I was talking more than fishing. All right, man. But as for that, guys, Bitcoin moving higher. We have the SPY at the high of the day. Netflix slowly starting to recover. I don't want to buy it all the way up here. So again, I think it's more of a quiet session. Nothing crazy going on and a lot of sideways price action.
Okay.
A channel being formed, though, in the SPY and the Qs. Offshore.
Anytime you say anything like remotely controversial, the chat they go with it. They're really good with it too.
Never put fish in microwave. They said, "I'm all right."
They stink up the entire condo there.
Yeah,
That's not gonna happen.
No, man.
Oil, dude.
Oil?
Yeah, anything you, if you put anything in oil, dude, the apartment just absolutely tinks.
You?
Yeah, like
Tinks up.
anyway, bro.
Tinks, eh?
It's just, and you can't get anything, you can't get the smell out. And that's the problem with putting it in oil, man. Like,
seeps in the,
and I can't do it on the balcony. Like, complete prohibition of any cooking on the balcony.
think they would
Brando's got a
market-
gas line
I
on his
know, that's
balcony,
sick, man.
and I can't even have an electric one.
That's
on
great.
mine.
You can't have an electric?
No.
Yeah,
no.
right. I would be
And
doing
they look, these dinosaurs, they live there and they just live to enforce the rules of the condo board. Okay, that's their prerogative from here on in until, you know, they're not around anymore. But it's a
tough call.
I love living in a condo, Joseph. I love, you know, marching to the beat of other people's drums. It is kind of what I do really well.
Well, I mean, you know what, Sharif? As long as it's good for them, then it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right?
I know a guy, says the Jameson, and Casey 526, she is that lady, man. Thank you, Casey. As always, it is so kind of you to always give people the memberships. So Christopher, Ocean, shout out to Darkside, Cat got one, Darkside got one, Do the Wave got one. Who else, man? Can't see exactly who else got one, but somebody else did get one. Thank you so much, Casey, for that. We appreciate you. Always kind of you to do that. And shout you out. I want to let you know exactly where you can get the watch list every day. The morning note, excuse me, not the watch list. If you just did get a membership there from Casey, mosey on over to the YouTube homepage right here for Trader TV. So this is the regular homepage. If you're a premium sub, you hit posts right there, and then mosey on down to where it says Sharif's Morning Note. You click read more, and there she is right there. Hit that Google Drive link, and you'll get the morning note. Of course, being led off by MRVL, CrowdStrike as well, being spoken about. My favorite on this one, American Eagle, Okta, Mike MCHP, another one I'm involved in. Macy's is on there, Joey. And in case you're wondering what you get, guys, you get a lot of information. You get support and resistance level 3 for each. You get the entire story, the context of the story, where the story fits into the broader market, and the trader takeaway. It will speak about, you know, swing trades, investing, intraday trades as well, and what to watch out for. So if you just got that membership, get the morning note every single day. And Joey, before I send it back to you, you know what I'm gonna say? There goes Poet into the area high. Trading this one as an upward channel. Joey, we've got 37s on. We just went the beak at 58. What do you got, my man?
Yeah, same thing, man. We're just in a lot of sideways price action. Nice breakout catch there on Poet. That's what we want to see. NVDA starting to climb a little bit lower. Hollow, says Trader TV. Other than that, guys, so, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to see how cool this market is. Well, let's take a look at our scanner and see what we got going on. I mean, we're in a position right now, but it's baby size. We want to look for something that's going to, oh, yeah, I mean, shout out to J Beebs as well, too. So there it is, guys. Top of the list is going to be the TQs with 51.6 million shares. I wish I had a RAM TRX, but I have a GMC.
She's been saying that for a long time, though, bro.
Man.
Yeah, what, you think you're just going to put stuff in the chat and nobody's going to see it randomly? And we're not allowed to
why
comment about it?
Like, oh my God.
I know.
Like, all right. Netflix, guys, not too bad of a look, starting to climb back towards the volume weighted average price. Now, as for Apple, IWM. Oh, shout out to IW.
What happened, Joey?
Yes. We found
Russ.
something, Sharif.
The Russ
we
is up
found
1.4. The Russ is leading every single major index.
Oh,
dude.
it
It's
is.
doubling.
It is, and your boy's going to take a short on this name here momentarily. We're going to wait for this pullback. Beautiful indecision print, a lot of stars aligning right here, Sharif. You can see that isolated volume print, inverted hammer, or inverted doji candle right there, 248.66. Any pullback and a retest of that, your boy is going to be taking that short. The big green candle. Hello, boys, Joey and Sharif. What's up, the big green candle? I hope you're having a fantastic day. There goes Bitcoin to the top side. We're still cooking up on this one. Come on, pull back, man. I don't want to chase it all the way back down here because the chances are we will get a pullback. And if we hold, oh, there it goes. Man, oh man, if only we were a split second earlier, Sharif, we would have been able to take advantage of this trade. So now we have to be patient, sit on our hands, and wait for a retest of 248.70s before we get involved. Oh man, this thing is going to go. Where's Gorev at today? And Los Pollos.
Yeah.
Where are those guys?
I don't know, man. We haven't seen
Losses in the
ADL.
chat. Where's Jag? I haven't seen Jag in the chat. So only my boy Los Polios is in the chat right now. So you've got to find out where the other members are.
Oh, yeah. My bad, yeah. I chipped my tooth yesterday. Look at that.
You're lying.
Yeah, I'm going to go that bad boy.
What were you doing? What were you
my
eating?
cousin right now. Chicken. There was a chicken bone.
Oh, man,
It
no,
chipped a little
that's
bit, Joey, so I
frustrating.
got to get that taken care of, my guy. But we're going to do that hopefully.
Yeah, you got to get that taken care of.
Yeah, I can't be smiling now.
No, I can't be big smiling, okay?
Feeling self-conscious, Joey. It is. All right, guys, we're still holding some here on Poet. Well, we're still holding quite a bit, actually, on Poet. I've posted here now at 59. It's showing me 56, the high of the day. Of course, is 64. That was made earlier. So I'm packing my patience here on Poet. Not my typical trade. Go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, there it goes. There goes Bitcoin. We're up 2% on the session now. Volume slowly starting to pick up on the lower time frames. Again, we don't have that many shares, but we're holding key levels. So now we're starting to get that breakout. I'll have to take it with what I have because I'm not going to be going in full size at this specific level, but let's go. This is the breakout that we want to see.
Okay, Joe, sounds good, my man. Yeah, we're still holding Poet, guys. I also want to bring your attention to KAVL. It's got two bottoming tail candles that may close into hammer candles here off a key technical level. Take a look where VWAP is on KAVL. 1560, but also take a look over here. That is the top end of the bull flag. So it broke out from that level. So 1560, and you're already seeing the bottoming tail candles. What I'm waiting for is the first 5-minute candle will make a new high. You actually haven't made a new high since about 1205. It's 1240. So I need this not just to print these bottoming tail candles off key technical levels, but to actually show me that there is a trend change. KAVL, certainly interested in weaseling into this one, but I got to see the right setup. MCRP, still hanging out at that dollar, man. I think I might have to work into this. I think I actually am going to work into this. So it feels like a couple of bull flags here, Joey. I mean, you get the breakout here at 1120. You get the continuation, another bull flag into 108, but just a lot of zig and zag here on MCRP. I don't want to force the trade if I don't have to, but there is not really a whole lot. Sadly, IRBT is not changing trends. So let's take a quick look here at MRCP. How's it looking over here? Is it still like a $20 spread? No, it's 1 penny here. So the spread is tightened up a little bit. This was wider earlier. It was like 3 or 4 pennies. So let's work into this, Joe. Look, I'm gonna work my way into this into about 95 pennies, okay? 95 pennies is VWAP. We're gonna go ahead, we're punching. And then we're gonna get some more in at 95, should it come down into that level. But we're gonna front run it as we always do. We're gonna go 96. If it loses this area right here, I'm talking about 93 pennies. So I'll put my stop likely at 92. It loses that, it loses me as a trader for this one. So we'll get out of that one. But we should probably put some profit takers into the area high in case it does get a price spike up and we're not looking. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Wow, Joey, look at Poet go, man. It is breaking out into the range that we spoke about. We got 37s. We just took 65s. Go, Poet, go. It is a new high of day on Poet, $5.68. It's up almost 21%. I'm only lamenting not having had resting orders up here in the high 60s. It's already showing me 66. You already know where I'm going to wait, man. We're going to go ahead and wait out. We're posting now at 69, Joseph Options. But I want to mention one thing.
What is it?
That I'm trading this as an upward channel range. So what does that mean? That means that we've gotten likely into that upward channel range. If we extend the trend line here, we may have a little bit more to go, maybe into the 70s. So I'm going to pack my patience on this one. And you always want to leave a piece for the dream if you're trading it as a range, right? Because you could get the breakout from the range. And then you're going to obviously lament not having had anything. So even if you know it goes against you, leave a little bit of a piece for that dream in case you know you get a price spike up into 6 or whatever. So Poet in focus for me here, Joe. Let's see how this one goes.
Oh, it didn't even know it, my brother. All right, there it goes, guys. Up to 52.70s roughly there on IBIT. You can see that the bid sitting around 68 and the ask around 69s. Now, this is going to be acting as a potential key resistance zone. So we want to see a little force as we punch through those levels. But the market continuously grinding higher. I didn't take anything on Netflix. It's just grinding sideways, and this is not ideal. You want to try to catch the lower end of the range. It's just going to drastically improve your risk to reward ratio. I know I went on this big spiel about just not buying top end of the range, but we did here on IBIT. We went relatively small, and then we just added a little bit more right there. So we're still posted up for some more. I should probably remove those. Considering, so boom, those are gone. We got that going right now, and we're gonna see if this can be continued. If we're fortunate enough to get a volume spike, then this thing is gonna go back towards the high of the day. But I can tell you one thing for free, guys, what we haven't done today.
What haven't you done, Joe? The sectors?
No, we done that already,
we did, my bad.
boy. We done that already, my boy.
We
That's
got
going to be, yeah, we're going to be looking at the options chain. So running into a little bit of a supply zone here on IBIT, we can see that the high of the day was roughly around 53.17, and then price was just being pushed right back down. So keep an eye out on that. It's definitely a factor in today's session, and if they want to push it below some of these supply zones, so you can head into 51s or something, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. Can act as support as well too, so don't forget that. 50 is definitely a support level, so we're probably not going to see anything lower than that, and that's going to be the December 19th expiration cycle. As for December 5th, yeah, so 53, 22,800 contract, or yeah, 800 contracts right there with volume around 6,110. Well, not too bad. There goes the IWM, actually breaching through some of the key levels. I want to keep my eye on this bad boy though, because I really like my chances. I'm going to let it phase a couple people out. We're going to do those liquidity grabs, and then I'm going to look for a turnaround anywhere north of where we're currently trading at, drastically outpacing what we're seeing in the SPY and in the Nasdaq. What has the Dow been up to?
What's it up to?
Performing relatively well, guys. So some of the tech-heavy names, because you can see that NVDA is not doing too much. So yeah, we'll keep that in mind. A nice steady grind. We have no issues with continuously holding onto the position right now. And once again, I'll mention it for probably the umpteenth time. Hey, volume step in, we're rocking and rolling. Let's take a look at the actual SPY and the Qs to see, hey, do we have this pinning type price action? And what do I mean by options pinning is essentially you just have a balance in between open interest on the call side and on the put side. And no, nothing crazy or outstanding. This is gonna be 0 DTE December 3rd. If only, like, see, the thing is, I understand people love 0 DTEs, but today is where you're just going to fall into a world of trouble. And I shouldn't say a world of trouble, but you're essentially just going to give away the money. Like, I get it. You want to buy this lottery ticket at $6.86 for $6, literally. That's the max that you can lose. But the chances of it climbing that high and then surpassing that by the end of the close is relatively none. So, like, again, you can buy 6 contracts for $36. It's not. Hopefully, it's not going to break your wallet or anything along those lines. But it's just like tossing money away. I remember I told you guys this story before. My accounting professor, he said he took a $20 bill from somebody and he tore it and he threw it in the garbage, and he's like, yeah, that's essentially what paying interest is on credit cards.
Oh, 100%.
Right? So
I suffered with that when I was young.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that. I mean, I did.
But I learned a lot from it.
Yeah, you learned a lot from it, but dude, because it takes a long time to get out of that stuff, right?
And like my parents were like,
dude. Yeah.
Figure it out.
You figure it out. And you learned your lesson.
Oh,
man.
God, yeah.
Yeah, you learned
yeah,
exactly. So just be careful with that stuff. Even though it seems intriguing and you want to buy them, the probability is so low that they're going to be successful. And when they do work, see, that's the thing. You can hit that 10-to-1 trade, but you have to be willing to take 10 losses of buying such a cheap contract that expires so close to hit that one bagger. And if you don't execute it on it well, then it's just not going to work.
Well said, Joe.
But Poets, you're crushing it on
Bro, it's going, Joey. It is absolutely going. We got 37s on now. It is a high of day of 73. This is really going. We wet the beak, of course, at 69 as is required under my contract. We're going to let this one go now. So I kept yapping about saving a piece for the dream. We're going to save the piece here. We're not going to take it out. Come what may, if it wants to come back into that 545 area where the lower resistance line is, we'll add more. But I'm going to continue to trade this as a range until it shows me a definitive breakout. POET treating me well today. Let's see how this one ends up doing. 573 high. We're looking for a little bit more. The other one that I'm involved in here, as I mentioned, MCRP. We got in at 01s. It's showing me 03s. But we've got now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 candles in a row with lower highs. Ever since we made that 108 high, it has been just a downward slope on this bad boy. Easier to see on the black charts. Allow me to show you guys this here. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Since that 108 high, it's been a lower high, lower high, lower high. That's the bad news. The good news is it's still holding that buck and the 10 EMA on the 5. So let's see what this one does. I'm willing to defend this one into VWAP in and around, I want to say 95 pennies. I may have to move up my resting order as a VWAP, of course, a dynamic level and requires me to make adjustments to said order. Separately, IRBT, that one we were trading earlier. Joey, look at this. Tell me they're in a seller at 20 here. Look at this. How many times are we going to work into 20, Joey, before we get rejected? That's the bad news. What's the good news? We're putting in higher lows, my man.
Oh, there
it goes.
Man.
Above 20, we could be getting a trend change right now on IRBT. We already know this bad boy here was up to 350 on the day. That gives us about 30 pennies worth of possible room for potential trades here. So IRBT in focus for me now, again, as it starts breaking out above that 20 range. There's 23, there's 24, Joey. Are we gonna get conned into this trade? I don't know. Let's see exactly what we'll get. I'm gonna keep my eye out on this one. What do you got?
Yeah, same thing, guys. I'm taking a small stab here on IWM. Super wide stop, small shares. I'll give this $1. No worries about that. But I'm going to be looking for that move back towards the downside. One thing to note on the 5-minute time frame, nothing is telling us like, hey, we're ready to completely turn around aside from this one signal. But we've already broken through that high. So what I'm going to look for is a nice top to be formed, some consolidation, and then potentially a curl over. But what is cooking up for us right now is, you've guessed it.
You guessed it.
IBIT, as we're starting to climb a little bit higher, guys. Once again, I have no issues with holding on to this a little bit longer. We're going to go 2 for 2 on the Bitcoin trade. Let's see if this IWM trade is going to come into fruition as well, because why not, man? If we're rocking and rolling. Yesterday was a tougher session. I put on a couple good trades, but nonetheless, I told you guys we'd be coming back in here at some point, regardless of the day, and just looking to perform once again. Consolidation, relatively a long consolidation, I guess I should say, and then now we're starting to get that breakout. We want to see that volume start to pick up, though. Excuse me. That would give us a little bit more confirmation in the fact that, hey, this move is going to be sustained, but we're not going to complain whatsoever about this trade here, Sharif. So I'll take a little bit off. We'll call it 20%, I guess. Ooh, rejected. We don't like that. We'll take 20% off here. Leave a little bit more for a runner. So we're posted up to see if we can catch that fill at 52.74s in Bitcoin. And there it goes. Why aren't you filling me?
Why aren't you filling?
Yo, what the heck? Oh my God! It literally punched through those levels.
Welcome to my world, bro.
Like,
Constantly not getting filled.
Yeah, I know. That's
doesn't
super
cross.
frustrating.
That's why, yeah.
Pardon me?
It does. Sometimes it doesn't cross.
Yeah, but it hit. The bid hit, brother. The
bid hit?
Yeah, the bid hit, and I guess
crazy.
I didn't have priority or anything like along those lines. So there it is, starting to come in a little bit on IBIT. I'm gonna wait. I'll post up at 52.74s, waiting for a little profit. What the hell? What happened?
Russia just sold. WeWans said Russia has just sold its first bond denominated in Chinese renminbi with the yen. Obviously, wow, really interesting there. Okay, I don't even know what to make of that, but that's interesting information that they would do that, obviously, to try to avoid the U.S. dollar, I'm assuming. Interesting. Okay.
Very interesting.
Say that again, Katina Man? It's going to be to yes, of course. Build a stronger negotiating position with President Trump. That's what the Katina Man said. It's exactly what he said. Shout out to my man. All right, keeping an eye, guys, on the, MCRP just dropped over here. Did we get the fill? No, because we stupid and we didn't move our dip trade to account for VWAP. That sucks, man. That's a mistake on my part there. An oversight. I just said I would do that. I didn't do it. It pops back in. Now it's got a hammer candle off VWAP, and I'm not participating. Let's go ahead and put it at 96 here, see if it wants to come back down into that level and fill me. Poet is just rocketing up, dude. I'm trying to trade this as a rate. Where the hell is it? There it is. New high day on Poet, 578. It's still holding prior bar low. I'm not taking out anything here. Let's see if Poet wants to run into $6. If it wants to go to 6, we'll take it to 6, but it's not giving me that turnaround signal like it did earlier. Take a look at that 1135. I mean, it made that new area high, then it was immediately proceeded by selling off into the volume weighted average price around 5 1/3. It's not quite doing that this time, so I'm trying to keep my eye out on that. But we're going to have to keep an eye here on MCRP, Joey. We're trying to work into this position. What
right.
time is it? Oh, we'll do the news in about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, man, we can fire it up at any given moment. We're just big relaxing right now, putting in a solid day, looking for a little bit of extra here. Nothing substantial, small sizes. IWM continuing to grind higher. I think it will turn around at some point. I mean, we're pretty extended on the intraday session. Let's take a look at it from a daily perspective. But again, it's just steady and up and to the right. We are completely going against the flow. You're in breakout territory as well, heading toward bang, and there we go. We catch a fill on IBIT there, guys. So not too bad whatsoever as we catch another trade right there. But this IWM trade is slightly frustrating because I know what it's doing. I know what you're up to. You're just continuously grinding higher, absorbing liquidity, and then eventually things might turn the tide. But again, I'm super small. I have no issues with taking a small loss on this one. I mean, we're down, what are we, 248.80s? I'll give it to 249.50, something along those lines, just for ish and giggles, you know? Catch my drift? Everyone. All right, let's take a little bit more out here on IBIT as this trade is starting to work out for us. Go 2 for 2 on this bad boy. Long consolidation, sustained breakout. We like that one. Should I cut Hangry Wife on what? What are you in? I accidentally bought a put spread on Tesla instead of a call spread yesterday. And now I'm down $550 unrealized loss max up to 2K. I mean, if it's not the trade that you want, Hangry, then I mean, you don't want to panic or anything along those lines. But if it's not what you wanted, I know. I honestly don't really know what to say. It's up to you if you want to cut that loss. Take the loss. Yeah, I mean, trust me, lessons have been learned on just not accepting the fact that you should just take that loss and not bag hold some certain things, right? I told you guys that. Actually took my largest options loss the other day, just cutting some positions, just because I'm like, you know what? I want to sleep decently at night, and I don't want to be waking up in the middle of the night looking at the price of Bitcoin and what it's up to.
You do anyway, bro.
Yeah, I do anyway. Yeah, I know, it's bad. But yeah, but that's not, I mean, I love trading. Obviously, it can be frustrating at times, but at the end of the day, I don't want it to consume me completely to the point where I'm waking up to see if Bitcoin's up a couple of percentage points or not. I don't think that's healthy. So yeah, I cut some. We took the loss. I tell you guys about my winners. I tell you guys about my losses. It's a $3,400 loss, but hey, man, it's small potatoes. We get that back, no problemo. May take a little bit of time, but the beautiful thing about the market is, Sharif, the chances of there being another opportunity are pretty high, if you ask me.
Pretty high, man.
Yeah, they're very, very high, and obviously being sarcastic. There will always be another opportunity. That's why I don't get attached to one trade for too long. If you're supposed to get out, just get out of it. And I'll do the exact same thing with IWM out here if it gets out. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys this trade, and Neil can confirm. Everybody, I think every single trader at this desk who's been through it, make your life easier. As difficult as it may be, in the long run, it's going to make it substantially easier if you just get out when you're supposed to get out. Don't complicate it. You're supposed to get out, get out. It's that simple. Don't be like, oh, well, I think it's going to bounce. I'm going to, all this, nonsense. Yeah, get that garbage out of here, essentially, and just get out of the trade because there's going to be another opportunity. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, well, I'm bag holding this position. But then you see a higher quality opportunity and you're like, now I've taken double the amount of loss in which I should in order to take the trade that is going to work. It's a tough skill to acquire, but once you've got that down pat, it makes trading life substantially easier.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Let's start the news. We can start it. I think it's about 4-1 at the moment. I think we're good to go there. Let's just make sure that I've got all my stops in place. Everything is good to go. I think we are solid. I just want to choose a screen where I have no trades ongoing so that I'm not required. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so let's get in. You good?
Yeah, and a nice additional pop there on Bitcoin.
Nice additional pop. Who can complain about that, Joey?
Let's take that there.
Let's get to work. Let's talk about MRVL. Big move yesterday for MRVL. It wasn't immediately like that, though. In fact, the stock was actually down after earnings, but it was the call, really, that sent this one back up, and as a result of the guide that they gave. So let's talk a little bit about this right now. MRVL surged. Well, where's it at right now, actually? It's up 4 1/5, not bad. It was up more than 9%, in fact, after announcing $3.25 billion acquisition, of course, of Celestial AI. They did report earnings yesterday. I don't have it over here, their earnings report, but I can get to it in a second. So I want to focus on Celestial here specifically because it's really going to help them compete in the data center business when they're obviously trying to compete now with the likes of Broadcom, even NVIDIA. So Celestial strengthens their position in AI data silicon, directly intensifying, as I mentioned, competition with Broadcom and NVIDIA. Celestial AI specifically, though, brings photonics technology to the table, which is using light instead of electricity to accelerate the communication between AI accelerators and RAM, the memory, which is obviously key for next-gen AI workloads. TD Cowen throwing a comment in there. They said, look, they like the acquisition, plus they also like Amazon's endorsement via a new warrant in the company. Shout out to Darwin, the OG, who's always trading warrants in the chat. It also significantly boosts MRVL's ability to compete in the CPO, the co-packaged optics, and the custom XPU architecture. So we know that MRVL has been trying to weasel into the data center AI game. Obviously, a good acquisition for them here, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some good numbers. Net revenue up 37%. Gross margins performing relatively well. Operating cash flow up to $582 million. So it's not bad whatsoever. But at the end of the day, if we look at the stock MRVL, it's choppy. There's no questioning that, Sharif, here. It's tougher to sit in this from an investment point, in my opinion, right? Like, you have this massive move lower. I mean, a lot of stocks were hit, but not to the extent of 63%. I mean, that's a pretty hefty haircut with multiple gap downs in between that. And then as for the middle of the summer, we can head over to our I guess, our guideline here, our benchmark of the April lows, 103%. So that's not bad, but in the grand scheme of things, a lot of consolidations. You go on a pretty lengthy consolidation right here. Look at this over-under right here, Sharif. It's like, oh, okay, we look like we're going to break out. No, fake out. Boom, consolidation, an additional fake out to the downside. And then eventually that's when you make your move, which is really nice. But then you just have this consistent multi-month downtrend that brings you down 62%, even though you are up 100% off of that specific
Yeah, these are super volatile, man.
Yeah,
like, I'm involved in MCHP as well. It makes like these analog chips super volatile, Joey. It'll drop, it'll pop. Yeah, a lot of different volatility metrics in that. Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on CAPR. Shout out to US stock trader. Look at CAPR. I'm seeing it. It's still below 30. Got it on the side chart. Thank you for pointing it out. Let's talk about CrowdStrike. See where it's at right now. CRWD. Almost recovering here. I mean, it's down 1% on the day, but likely because it ran up so much in anticipation of earnings, because the earnings were quite good. So they posted Q3 revenue of a little bit shy than $1.25 billion, 1.23 billion, but it was a 22% increase on that top line number, but it narrowly beats the 1.22 expected by the street. Maybe that's why we're selling off. The market was a little greedy. They wanted more. EPS came in at 96 pennies, adjusted EPS, I should mention, instead of the 94 expected by analysts. It also has record highs across its operating cash flow, its free cash flow, operating income, and also ARR, annual recurring revenue, which is reinforcing sort of the thesis that the demand remains durable. Shares did slip a little bit though, but likely because it's rallied 24% since the August Q2 print. Let's talk about the firm continues to benefit from their AI paradox. What is this AI paradox? Well, AI increases, AI, the actual thing, is increasing cyber attack frequency and complexity, which creates more demand for CrowdStrike security. However, on the other side of the coin, AI is also enhancing Falcons, which is their cybersecurity systems, its own detection capabilities. So it's increasing more, increasing the attacks more, but also helping the actual cybersecurity software become more effective. So that creates pricing power, and it's a cross-sell uplift as well, Joey. They did quite well on their guide as well. Full year 2026 revenue was raised. They were guiding initially 4.75. Now it's almost basically 4.8, what they're guiding. Their street was looking for 4.78. They raised their EPS guide as well, and they reaffirmed their Q4 revenue guide and Q4 EPS, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to your guidance point there, Sharif, I mean, that's going to be 20% year over year, which is a pretty good, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good growth. I mean, a lot going on. Free cash flow up substantially as well, too, guys, around 296 million. Operating cash flow up to 398 million. So I really like this name. The cybersecurity is definitely something to get involved with, and we're not going to complain whatsoever about what we got going on from a technical standpoint here in CrowdStrike. So, I mean, listen, look how this trend line's holding up. I'm not going to say bet your bottom dollar on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if you get a nice relative bounce, and then sure enough, in the near future, you get a break above that all-time high of around $565. Outage where? That thing is that is way in the past, Sharif. Yeah, that's essentially a big nothing burger at this point because this name continues to perform quarter after quarter, year after year.
You know what I noticed with Crowd as opposed to PanW? They're not making any acquisitions, meaning they're still growing organically, and they're not having to acquire the whale, which is good in one sense, obviously, that you're not having to spend that CapEx on the acquisitions.
Exactly.
In the other sense, though, because I'm not no expert in this either, are they really covering all the bases that PanW is doing? Are they able to develop internally all the different sort of moats that PanW is doing as well? Because PanW has this platformization strategy where they want to lock you in into every sector of cybersecurity. Whether or not they're able to do it is not what I'm commenting on right now. I'm just saying that that's what their move is. So,
hey, but I mean, stick to your guns, man. If it continuously works, then just go with the flow and try to get a little bit better. Exactly.
Shout out to Jacka, 22.96, dropping $5 in the chat. We appreciate you, my man. Another $40,000 profit swinging NVIDIA options this morning. Grabbed more on the dip below 180 and looking for another 5K so far with those. We're going to spin the money for you, man. That's big boy money right there. That's aggressive money right there. Joey, we got to talk about American Eagle in a second.
Right when we get back.
Right when we get back from Midday.
Yeah, I have to tell you guys here about CRM, a name that was just discussed and is also reporting earnings tonight after the bell. Salesforce announcing it's deepening its collaboration with AWS to launch Agentforce 360 for AWS. Apparently, the goal of this is to drive faster, safer AI success for enterprises. Nice pop for CRM ahead of its earnings. Back to you guys.
All right, guys. Be nice to each other in the chat, please, okay?
Who's saying
it's okay. Let's just go on. Joey, American Eagle.
Oh, yo, listen, brother. If
look,
you,
I haven't won anything yet.
Exactly.
I haven't made any money yet.
Exactly.
It's okay.
It's all right. It's all right.
I'm the one that openly saying that.
Do you want to? Actually, I'm not even going to tell you.
I'm not changing any of the bet, Joey.
No, I'm not asking you to change the bet. But if I come out on top, you have.
I'm not doing nothing.
No, I'm not asking you to do nothing. But what I am going to be doing is going to be absolutely insane. I already have a plan.
You know, I realize that I have basically an unlimited amount of time for that 26 to hit because there was no timeline placed on the bet.
Brother, by the end of the year.
End of the year?
Yeah. You got 3 weeks, my boy. Yeah.
Hold on, Ram. You got the video? You're editing the video?
God. Yeah.
Hold on, I said by the end of the year? Okay.
Yeah, end of the year.
Joey said at the end of the year, in August. Okay.
I
didn't know, bro.
Timeline, bro.
No, I didn't realize that. I swear to you, I didn't realize that. But if Ram says it is.
Because the guy got so you were counting your blessing thing until the end of time, man. Come on.
Till the end of time. All right, but let's talk about what they did, Joey. Yeah. They issued a bullish holiday guidance, and they're now expecting Q4 comparable sales to come between 8 and 9% year over year. Wall Street was looking for 2%, so a big move there. The company also raised their full-year adjusted operating income outlook to about $303 to $308 million. The prior guide, way lower, $255 to $265. Management highlighted what they're calling record-breaking momentum during the Thanksgiving weekend. Let's talk about how they actually did numbers-wise. Q3 EPS, 53 pennies. The street wanted 44. Q3 revenue, 1.36. Street wanted 1.32. Check. Beat on the top and bottom line. Net income, that take-home money, $91.3 million, up from what they took home last year, which was about $80 million. Total sales grew 6% year over year, marking a solid return to that organic growth. So let's talk about where they made the money, Joey, because it's not just the American Eagle brand. In fact, I don't even know how to say this. Do you know how to say this? Ari? Airy. So company-wide comparable sales 4%, beating the 2.7 expected by the street. But it wasn't the American Eagle brand that actually rose that. In fact, they missed on that. It was a 1% year-over-year increase on the comp. The street was looking for 2.1, but that was helped by Airy. Comparable sales 11% year-over-year, and revenue for that segment grew 13% year-over-year. Their operating margin hit 8.3, topping the 7.5 expected. Let's cut the crap, man. Why are they doing well? Well, come on.
Stop it.
Come on.
Travis Kelce.
It could be Travis Kelce. I mean, I don't know.
Definitely not, but let's not beat around the bush, man.
It is the aggressive campaign. Make of it what you will. A lot of it was, you know, we're not going to get into the whole thing right here, but the whole point was there was innuendo being thrown in there.
Dude,
it caught people's attention. Now people are looking at the company
Let's
again.
not beat around the bush on the fact that the ability that star power has on brands, right? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, regardless of who it is or what's going on, there's no denying the fact that they're going to have somewhat of an impact, and I think it's important to note that. But other than that, guys, gross margins slightly down year over year, 50 basis points, about 150 basis points of headwinds from tariffs as well, too, so 1.5%. Operating margins 8.3% on a GAAP basis, roughly flat year over year. So nothing horrible. I mean, inventories are slightly down as well, too, which I think is really important to know. But Sharif, my brother, you got a big time gap up. I mean, when did we make this? When did we make it? Was somewhere in August. It was in the middle of summer, right? So you've already got 100%, almost 100% return on AEL from that point. Right? So, I mean, this is the Sydney Sweeney news, I'm pretty sure, right around here.
It was a little bit lower, actually.
Before this gap up? What was this gap up here? Was that previous earnings? Yeah, that was the earnings report. Yeah. That was earnings report
on the Sydney
up here.
News off the low.
Some of the volume, somewhere around this neck of the woods. So, I mean, keep an eye out, man.
Look how quickly it filled that gap, and it filled it all. So we
really
can see
quick.
Another fill there. So, like, let's not get too excited here.
Well,
right? I mean, I'm just speaking.
No, in all seriousness. But it did climb a little bit higher. It went from 18 all the way to $20, so you get a 2-point range. I mean, we're cutting it close here in all reality. There is a key pivot right around that 26.43. If it does tap into that, then we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. But as for these indecision prints, the volume not as large as that we were expecting. Look at the volume print here on American Eagle in September than what we're experiencing right now.
Fair enough.
That could be a double-edged sword, really.
What's our Seeking Knowledge and Clarity says Aerie is an American Eagle's bras, underwear, activewear, and swimwear brand. Thank you. Actually, I didn't know that. All right, Adara, give us your take on American Eagle.
Yeah, I think with Aerie, the comparable sales increase makes sense. You always see a lot of people in that store in the mall because it does have its own little store. Shout out to the Eaton Center. But I want to talk about the Sydney Sweeney effect for a bit because it's very interesting that Sydney and Travis Kelce, they're both involved with the actual American Eagle brand proper with these campaigns, and yet people aren't buying more jeans. They're talking a lot about the jeans and, whether or not they are great, but they are not purchasing the actual apparel. So that I think is interesting. And I think also, I makes sense they're trying to guide this comparable sales growth. I think if they can even outdo that already lofty 8 to 9% growth for the quarter with, holiday sales, et cetera, I actually think this could be a really good Q4 for American Eagle. But I think them guiding so much stronger than expected for Q4 comp sales could hurt them if they come anywhere below that. Like they're guiding 8 to 9%, right? Like let's say they even give us 5 or 6%. That's still well above the estimate. But because it's below where they're guiding, I think it'll disappoint investors. So they've put themselves kind of in between a rock and a hard place. I want to see how those comp sales work, and I want to see if the Sydney Sweeney effect starts turning into actual sales of jeans, not at Aerie, but American Eagle proper.
Let's go on to the next story. Okta posts a strong Q3 beat, but drops on a lack of guidance. So they weren't able to guide, and the market looked at that as maybe they're not that confident. So they delivered a clean beat across the headline metrics, EPS, 82 pennies versus the 76, revenue of 742 million, beating the 730 expected. Subscription revenue also rose nicely, 11% year over year, slightly ahead of expectations. Net income, $43 million. Compare that to the $16 million they took home last year with their RPOs. Their remaining performance obligations, made famous, of course, by Oracle, grew 17% year over year. Now, up to 4.3 billion. Despite all that strong numbers that they delivered, shares fell around 3% after hours because they did not provide full year guidance. CFO Brett Ty or whatever cited Q4 seasonality and the need for conservatism, which the market interpreted, in their opinion, as hesitation. Okta also launched new tools that allow enterprise to build AI agents. We've been hearing a lot more about agentic AI, which is going to help automate their workflows. He also said their AI TAM expansion could actually exceed Okta. Go, Joey. Go. There we go. The coin is going, baby.
Holy, man, this is what I was talking about earlier in the day. I just, honestly, guys, full disclosure, like I had literally about 20% of what I had on the initial position, my first one not being, but there it goes, that nice consolidative breakout. The longer the consolidation, the stronger the move can be, and we're experiencing that right now in IBIT, up about 2.7% in the session, guys.
Yeah, so moving on here, the Okta, the CEO saying their AI TAM expansion could actually exceed their core business over the next 5 years. That would be an interesting development. So look, they guided Q4, but they didn't give full year. They're guiding Q4 EPS between 748 to 750. The street was looking for 738, an easy beat on that guide with EPS coming in 84. They're guiding 84 to 85 pennies. That is, well, the bottom end of the range. The range obviously is 84 and a half. The street was looking for 84. Oh. So a definite good look for their current guide, Joey. What do you make of Okta?
Yeah, some good stuff. Sorry, I'm going through a little bit of charting issues right now. I want to pull up OKTA. I was just going through some of the report as well, too, and seeing what we got going on. Sharif went through a lot of the material. So backlog, obviously, RPO up 17% year over year, which is pretty good. You're not going to complain about that stuff, so a little bit of excess demand. But as for the actual stock itself, continuing its pop-up from earlier this morning, Sharif. So a strong opening drive, 75.51, and a big-time move to the top side. You can see yesterday after the bell, sells off. No real 5-minute orb play right there, but then you can see you open up at 4 a.m., you start to bleed, and then sure enough, you get a nice rip to the top side. So as for that, a nice bounce through some key support levels, but let's not beat around the bush with some of these things, guys. This chart is not pretty whatsoever. If you're off of these May 25 highs, you're still down 33%, so you're drastically underperforming the overall market, guys. There goes Bitcoin volume starting to step in. Looks like we're getting a breakout there.
All right, let's go on to the next topic. Microchip Technology, MCHP, a name I'm involved in. They raised their Q3 outlook to about 40 pennies. The top end of the range was 34 to 40. Net sales now expected to land in the high end of the range of 1.11 to 1.15 billion, signaling stronger than expected demand. This company basically makes analog chips that they're using in AI now. Kind of fell out of favor, now they're back in favor. CEO Steve Sanghi saying the business trends are outperforming prior expectations. With the 2 months of Q3 completed, he now expects the company to have about 1% sequential growth and about 12% year-over-year growth. I've been looking at the chart on this. I know Joey typically does the charting here, so maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see. But I'm perceiving this one to kind of possibly be an inverted head and shoulders. I'd like to see a neckline break above 77.5. I was happy when this one dipped aggressively into that $40 range. This was the tariff tantrum, of course. But yeah, it was preceded by a downtrend. You have a sort of a head and shoulders pattern. I'm going to be looking for the breakout specifically, though, above that 200 SMA at around 72. But ideally, you get that break above that 77.5 where we topped out, I want to say, in mid-July, Joey. What do you make of MCHP?
Sorry, Sharif, my P8's bugging out on me for some reason. I can keep going. Yeah, please, here. Thank you very much.
Shout out to Nicole. She's got Mara calls and Neo puts.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're not wrong, girl, because Chinese EVs have been getting decimated lately. Take a look at this, Assassino. XPEV is down another 5% today, 5 3/4 for Neo, and the hot garbage, Li Auto, down 3 3/4. But I've been keeping an eye on XPEV the last little while, and the chart, the daily chart anyway, on XPEV, not looking good lately. Let me just bring that in. Yeah, that's what we're looking at right now, guys, from those area highs that we put in, I want to say, in early November. Since that $28 high, we are now down 33% since the beginning of, or I don't even beginning, that was the middle of November. So Chinese EVs getting shellacked as of late. Shout out to Nicole Harris and shout out to Atlanta. Let's go on to the next story. Macy's, oh boy. Poet is really going here, Joey. We're still holding the piece, by the way. I know the position board is out, but Poet just made another high day into 580. What do we have on Poet here, Joe? We got 37. So let's see if this one can continue to run. Where's Macy's at, by the way? Macy's is up 1/3%. Okay, not great, but not bad. Their best growth quarter in 3 years, and they raised the outlook. So they beat Wall Street's quarterly expectations for the 3rd straight quarter, signaling, you know, that sustained traction and for its turnaround strategy. Q3 revenue came in at $4.71 billion, beating the $4.62 expected, with adjusted EPS coming in at 9, topping the expectations of a 4-penny loss. So they're actually profitable. Comparable sales rose 3.2% or 3.4% when you exclude stores that are going to be closed in the near future. They did raise their full year EPS between 2 to 2.5, up from the prior guide when they guided $1.70 to $2.05, and now they're expecting full year net sales to be about 21.5 to about $21.2 billion. They're projecting full year revenue still below, though, last year's. They took home about almost $22.3 billion last year, with about $700 million of the decline attributed to 64 store closures since the last fiscal year. And sadly, we never want to celebrate this, but they're actually looking to close more stores. Macy's is accelerating in its investment in staffing, merchandising, and store presentation, starting with 50 revamped stores called the First 50, and now expect to expand to 125 upgraded locations. But their strategy includes closing underperforming Macy's stores. 150 closures are planned by 2027's, Joey, but that's on the bad side. What's the good side? They're looking at actually expanding Bloomingdale's and Blue Mercury, which are their higher end brands, Joey, and obviously bring in more margins. What's your look?
Yeah, not too bad of a look there. I mean, net sales still down approximately 0.6%, which isn't horrible considering they have a bunch of stores that are being closed. From a technical standpoint, we'll take a look at Macy's. We know the retail space. Hey, I think, like, in all reality, Sharif, if we're talking about Christmas rallies, what are the spaces in which we're going to see them? I think the retail space is a pretty good a place to look, right? Like, you got the American Eagle and everything along those lines. So Macy's performing relatively well, guys. We're not going to complain whatsoever. I mean, at the end of the day, look at this bounce off of April here. 137%, not too bad. A pretty good move, continuous gaps up. Look at this volume print as well, too, in Macy's, guys.
Just going to do a quick test trade here for Assassino. There we go, and we got it out of it.
Oh,
there we go.
God, this is disastrous here.
There we go. All right, let's go on to the next story over here. What's going on?
Brother, I don't even
tripping over there. I'm going to skip Dollar Tree here. Let's go on to NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang to discuss USAI leadership at a conference called CSIS. Not the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, for all my Canadians out there. So CSIS will host NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang today at 5 p.m. for a high-profile discussion. The event is going to center on securing U.S. leadership in AI, of course, and wanting to cement NVIDIA's position as the leader of global semiconductors in AI. He's expected to outline their perspective on how U.S. policy can accelerate that AI innovation while maintaining strategic advantage. That's basically a nice way of saying, hey, let us sell to the Chinese so that the Chinese don't replace us with other markets. So we'll have to see how that all works out. The talk is going to highlight why AI compute and data center infrastructure have become core to both national security and economic competitiveness. So look, we don't really know exactly what's going to be said or what's going to come out of that meeting, but obviously it is a very important one because we've talked about the dwindling market share that NVIDIA's had in China. It used to represent about 20% of their overall revenue. It now accounts for 0, according to what Jensen Huang said with his own mouth, not analysts projecting that. That was Jensen's words specifically. So, second largest economy in the world, can you really afford to not have a presence in that economy? And that's kind of the question I'll leave to you there. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll take a look at what we got going on. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out.
You want me to keep going, bro?
Yeah, please. Yeah, I'm having some issues over here, man.
Not a problem, man.
Yeah,
not a
thank
problem.
you.
All right. Let's keep going on. Over here, Apple set for record iPhone shipments in 2025. Being credited here is China and the pickup in sales of that region. So IDC is forecasting 247.4 million iPhone shipments in 25, which would be a 6% year-over-year bump. But it would also mean, if it materializes, that it would surpass the previous peak of 236 million units sold. That was back in 2021. Funny enough, I bought the iPhone 13 in 21. I bought the iPhone 17 this year, and I keep buying their biggest cycles ever. So that was the on record is the 236 million they sold in 21, and that was for the iPhone 13. IDC also highlighting massive demand for the iPhone in China. Says China iPhone shipments are expected to rise 17% year over year in Q4. And local competitors, especially Huawei, continue to pressure Apple, but demand for the 17 series currently outweighs the share loss that they've experienced as a result of that strong competition. The strong iPhone 17 cycle is critical as investors questioned Apple's AI strategy, especially with Android OEMs really pushing aggressively into those native AI devices. Counterpoint Research, because we've been talking about IDC, now Counterpoint chiming in here, and they expect Apple to overtake Samsung, as we reported to you last week, in total smartphone shipments in 2025. That would be the first time that's happened, Joey, in about 14 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that it's like, okay, yeah, we're questioning Apple's, obviously, AI movement and everything that they were doing, lack of investment, if you want to call it that. But look what the stock's doing. These guys haven't been spending money out of the wazoo, and this could be the greatest iPhone sales on record, which is pretty good. We were thinking about the super cycle coming into play with the iPhone 16. It just came a year later. It's unfortunate that the drop of Apple Intelligence didn't head us into that area, but the iPhone 17, how you can use ChatGPT, the camera, just everything along those lines, the iPhone Slim has sent this stock to literally new all-time highs. So they don't need to be spending all of this money considering the stock is still performing relatively well and they haven't spent much cash. They're just gonna sit back and I think they're gonna collect money at the end of the day, whether it be from Google, Anthropic, ChatGPT, and some of these other AI startups. So I think they're going to be doing just fine in the near future. Who knows what the 18 is going to bring? We were talking super cycle.
Speaking of the 18,
super cycle.
You bring up a really good point. Apple said they may delay the base iPhone 18 model to 27 because they're going to have 2 launch cycles apparently now for the iPhone. One in the early, I want to say early fall, actually it's late summer. And then I think in late winter or early spring. So apparently they're going to break the fall release rhythm, so to speak, which could, IDC is positing, could lead to a 4.2% decline in shipments next year because you're going to have that base brand not launched in September but launched later on in 27. So that could drop the actual quarters numbers. Year numbers, though, would probably balance out because you have the same type of sales in the spring. We'll have to wait and see if that is the case. All right, Adira, give us your take on Apple.
I've been saying this since this whole super cycle talk kind of started up. There is always the risk that if you have a lot of people buying something at one point, then they will, end up buying less the next time the next product comes along, right? So I think that's legitimately a concern here with regards to the super cycle conundrum, for lack of a better term. I think it's obviously been a really good catalyst for Apple stock. We've seen what happened here at the open, but I do think we have to think beyond the iPhone 17. It's a good short-term catalyst, but the AI question is still very much in debate, and B, if we don't get another iPhone and then thus more iPhone sales for the next little while, I think that's something else to be concerned about here too. So great near-term catalyst, kind of shady in the longer term.
Thank you very much.
No, there's some things that I agree with Adira, but I think the market is. I think we've totally forgot about the botch of the Apple Intelligence release. Look how the stock's been performing and sales are up. So I don't know how much that is to worry about. And is it going to be that narrative? Because I think Apple learned their lesson from last time. Like, hey, we're not going to talk about this too much until it's actually completely ready, and we might not even know by the 18 if it's going to be. So I think they're sitting in a pretty good position because this stock has been performing relatively relatively well.
And I also want to say one thing, that everybody expects AI to look a certain way. We all have experience with AI using LLMs. But that's not, I think, where Apple's going at all. I think they're looking for on-device small language models that they're going to base for a couple of reasons. One, they want it to be specific to the person on device. Two, they want to keep it local so that it's more secure. You're not having to go to the cloud, so you can have that, you know, your data is secure pitch that Apple's been pitching to us for the last 10 years, right? So we'll have to wait and see, and not least of which is the fact that they're basically looking for that on-device small language model necessitates way less CapEx. So in an era where, you know, some people are saying, are we spending too much? It could benefit them. But Joey, the risk is, if these on-device models, at least in the short term, suck or are not up to the standard of the cloud models,
it will catch up.
It will catch up.
It will catch up.
But I'm assuming that technology will progress to a state where the on-device models will eventually be good. Maybe just not right away.
Yeah, I think that's the big next thing, right? Like, you want the agentic feature within Siri. You want it to be able to take control of your phone and do things that it currently can't do right now. And I think that's really what's going to separate Apple from the other smartphones.
We'll see. Let's talk about BTC. Where's it at, Joey?
I don't know.
Where are we at, man? We're at 93.1. So we're basically, the title here says BTC to 93 as ETH, XRP, and Doge continue to rally. So Bitcoin has rebounded, as we just spoke about, to 93,000, supported by more than $480.6 million in liquidations over 2 days. A classic short squeeze dynamic helping fuel the move higher. It's nice to see that it's going the other way now. BTC ETFs posted $58.5 million in inflows, while ETH saw outflows, actually indicating rotational flows into Bitcoin. With BTC reclaiming, though, the monthly open and clearing that $91,000 to $93,000 resistance band, traders here see growing odds of a December Santa rally. I'd love that. Market technicians, Joey, they're pointing to BTC's higher high and higher low intraday structure. Just talking my language over here. Signaling a return to short-term bullish momentum. A confirmed push above 98,000 could also trigger a fast move towards that 97, 98 liquidity pocket where large stop clusters are currently sitting. We got to mention here that it wasn't just BTC, it was ETH, Solana, XRP, Doge, Shiba Inu. They all moved up nicely yesterday.
It was across the space. Yeah, 100% agree with you there, Sharif. I mean, as for Bitcoin, guys, you know, I have VWAP on my chart, right? Like, again, this is just after some time, and so you don't really need too much. But what we do need, and I think this is such a major factor that is overlooked, and I've been talking about it since the minute these candles were printed. I've been talking about it quite often as well. If you want to go back into the archives of Trader TV, we did a lesson on volume price analysis and what specific signals mean a certain thing. Los Polios and certain individuals are looking for these prints across the board. And when they start to display themselves, it's our job to kind of just try and take advantage of them. So Bitcoin, you're at an extreme low. You're down, I believe we were down 36% or something roughly off of those highs.
Did we breach 80 or did we hold 80 to the T?
No, it didn't get down to 80.
It didn't touch 79?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, 80,800 or something along those lines. Okay. But you're down 36%, right? You're running towards some key support levels. Now, we have that indecision print with outstanding volume. Again, I've said this multiple times. It was the largest volume print on Bitcoin in a year span, literally a year and 1 day. It was the largest print on IBIT. When I see those types of signals at the extreme lows, you can have whatever model you explaining in whatever sense you want. I'm looking at two factors. What is price telling me and what is the volume telling me? And sure enough, we're starting to see a bounce. Matter of fact, a $13,000 bounce roughly off of those lows, off of those two simple, I don't want to call it simple, but they're very definitive and they're eye-popping. They grab you by the face and they're like, hey, look, we might turn around in the near term. And I think it's really important to note that.
And it's also important to note as well, like when we looked at the leverage products the other day, the fact that they were lower than when I looked at them. For example, that MEXC had a 350. When we looked at it last year, it was 200. There was another one, 1,200, Joey. It was down 1,000. So I'm not saying that that's the way it's going to stay. I'm just saying, you know, it's interesting how these leverage products kind of move with the flow. When the good times are piling in and we're putting in higher highs and higher lows, all of a sudden you're seeing 1,200, 1,500, right? And then it drops back down. They're cutting down the leverage.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you this as well, too. So this was one of the largest liquidation events on Friday, October 10th. We experienced another one here on December 1st. Now, I was talking with Jose yesterday, and we had a little bit of a conversation, but do you think that you're going to get a new wave of participants that quick getting liquidated, or do you think it's a separate entity that is kind of leveraging itself, maybe looking for a potential pop, and then getting liquidated and then just hopping right back in momentarily?
I actually don't know. My theory
But
on
you
this,
see what I'm getting at, though? Like that wave of individual, like that new wave of participants coming that quick and then getting liquidated that quick. For me, it's hard to wrap my head around.
It is, but when we look at the products being offered, it makes a bit more sense.
More intriguing, okay. Fair enough. But that's just how I was looking at it. I find it kind of weird because you don't see that in other names. Obviously, the crypto space being highly leveraged, but in the span of a little bit over a couple of months, it's like, why are you seeing that many liquidation events from a new wave of retail participants?
It's hard to know, but I see what you're saying.
Like in a couple of months, it's hard. Like the majority of people can't refund their account just like that, and then as soon as you refund it, you decide to, hey, I'm going to do the exact same thing as last time, and sure enough, you get liquidated. I don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and I think that's why like little subtle signals, I shouldn't call it subtle whatsoever, signals like that are really important to know.
Well said, Joe. Well said. All right, Adara, give us your take on crypto.
The bounce yesterday is certainly really incredible, and I think something worth talking about across the crypto, like across all these different tickers as well in this space. I definitely want to put that out there, but I do have to talk about MSTR once again because MicroStrategy does have a pretty interesting catalyst. I guess now they're called Strategy, but as we know, both MSCI and Michael Saylor, chairman of Strategy, confirming that they're in talks because MSCI is going to have to make a decision on January 15th whether or not Strategy still qualifies for MSCI listing. Now, that's because due to their status as now basically just a crypto treasury play, that could run afoul of some of MSCI's rules. So we're going to have to wait and see if that decision pans out. But I think keep an eye on MSTR here. That January 15th decision could be interesting for the stock, but also for the space as a whole.
Much for that. All right, Joe, let's go on to the next one here. Wells Fargo sees Oracle as a major AI winner ahead. Let's see what Wells analyst here has to say. They initiated Oracle with, why are they just initiating Oracle now? What the hell?
It's down. It's been down.
The company's a zillion years old. You're just initiating now? Like, okay, all right, whatever. They initiated coverage of Oracle with an overweight rating and a $280 price target, basically implying about a 40% upside from the previous levels that we had yesterday. Oracle shares are already up 21% year to date, but the stock, more notably, has fallen 29% in Q4 as valuations concerned pressured sentiment. We should probably talk here about the RPOs. Safra, I don't know if it was Safra Katz or the OG himself, Ellison, said that they had about $300 billion in RPOs, remaining performance obligations, meaning that they had $300 billion in demand they couldn't meet, right? And so when the market did a little bit of digging, they found out the great majority of that $300 billion RPO was tied to one customer. Can you guess who, Joseph?
NVDA. No, OpenAI.
Open freaking AI. And everybody's already been making such a big fuss about how the hell OpenAI is going to be able to fund all these projects that they've announced. So that's why we sold off aggressively. Let's see what else Wells Fargo analysts here has to say. They said they see Oracle emerging as a leader in AI infrastructure boom, citing nearly $500 billion in AI deals already booked. They hold key strategic accounts, including OpenAI. They got XAI, which is, of course, our very favorite, Elon Musk. Meta. They got TikTok, of course. Remember, we talked about this, TikTok USA, being held by Oracle. Solidifying its position as the preferred compute partner for large-scale AI workloads. Shares are trading about 42% off the highs, Joey, so we'll have to see how that works out. They also talked about cloud market share expansion. They're forecasting Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, referred to as OCI, which we don't really do a lot, but we should because it's like saying Google Cloud, is growing at a 16% cloud market share, or is growing to about 16% cloud market share by 2029. We know that the big three right now are AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. And then everybody else is in single-digit land. So they're saying Oracle could reach high double digits by close to the end of the decade, up from just 5%, as I mentioned, single digits in 2025, one of the more aggressive growth ramps in the cloud sector. They also expect Oracle, Joey, to become the fourth major hyperscaler, reaching scale comparable to Google Cloud and AWS. The rapid adoption is being driven by, of course, the AI-specific capacity buildouts. We should stop calling these cloud providers. I'm going to start calling them neo cloud, to differentiate between regular cloud computing and cloud for AI.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, Sharif, this is absolutely disastrous if you ask me. I mean, off of that previous high, you wick up to $344.74. You're now trading around 100 and around what, 205.41 roughly, but you had a 46% drop. 46. In this name. So you got to take into consideration all the individuals who are like, oh, wow, fantastic guidance. We're guiding out the wazoo. The stock is going to climb up to $400, whatever it may be. And then sure enough, it loses 50% of its value.
50%.
So now 45, 46, right?
It's closer to 50.
So right now, in order to get back to that level that we experienced from its previous earnings report, it needs to double.
Is it holding any technical levels, Joey?
I mean, like we like to draw our bases.
Breakout back there. Yeah, look at that. Look at that on the left.
This one right here, right?
On the left.
Oh, here?
All the left.
Left, this way.
All the way, yeah. Look at that breakout right there.
Okay, yeah, pointing right there. Yeah.
So it's holding support.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we can classify that as a pivot level.
What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. That's a pivot high.
Yeah.
So not too bad of a look right there. We'll mark that one down.
And that's a bottoming tail candle. I know you're all about that life right there.
Exactly. So again, the signals may not always be 100% correlating, but what we do is we have an outstanding candle before this indecision print is there. So that can be classified as stopping volume. If it's going to be classified as the fourth hyperscaler, then this stock is going to continue to climb a little bit higher. But once again, just to get back to where we were currently trading at, and earlier in the middle of the summer, you need the stock to essentially double.
Absolutely.
Which is tough.
Which is crazy. But we saw what happened, Joey, when they reported.
Yeah.
This thing rocketed. Show them the gap, man.
You're gonna, yeah.
That's that. What was that percentage move from the gap, from the breakout to the top? What was that?
43%.
43%, Joe. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility. I don't think we do it again.
No, exactly, because you don't think that the street learned their lesson the first time. It's like, hey, yeah, you get this massive move higher, and then it breaks down.
But we broke down because people are worried about OpenAI.
The OpenAI, yes, and the CapEx was
and the CapEx is big as well.
Was major as well too. Because they
got
to spend. They got to spend more money.
Bum in the chat, Joey. Katina, man, he called me a bum. He's like, Sharif, cover ASAN, you bum. They reported last night. Why am I even entertaining this? I just like it because you called me a bum, man. Let's look at ASAN for you over here. Maybe
that's
I'll
crazy.
Win him
he called
over.
you a bum and you cover the stock.
He called me a bum. Usually that's reserved only for Ram. She's the one that's got that,
allowed to
slippery tongue there. All right, ASAN. Let's look at this one. So this has been running up quite nicely lately, guys. It's been nice higher highs and higher lows anyway since the late last month. Look, I don't know what the hell is going on. I covered this. What are you talking about, man? I did cover this earlier on. You just weren't around. I even said this is not a small cap gapper. I'm not trading it. And I even said specifically we're having trouble with 1420, and we did. And I said it over here too when we were about to break 1420. Lo and behold, look what we did. We got to 14.25, and we dropped right back down into 14. So you got to clear that 14.25 level, which is presenting itself as a multiple area of resistance in the aftermarket, in the pre-market, and today again during regular trading hours. I even have that trend line drawn right there for you. I didn't do that right now. So yeah, I'd say ride the trend. You've got higher lows. You could be a flat top break candidate here with that 14.25 being the flat top break. Let me know how it goes, brother. But ASAN, not a bad look, an earnings winner from yesterday. But having trouble clearing that 14.25, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, I will touch on the market here real quick. We're still sitting in this IBIT trade. I don't have much left, and then we were looking to take some off there on IWM. I just didn't catch a fill, which is slightly annoying, but I mentioned that it was going to break down. Now it's starting to climb a little bit higher. Some indecision prints on the 5-minute that I don't like whatsoever. So if it continues to grind, then I'll just hop out, especially if a new high is established right there. But it was working, and I was looking to take some profits, just didn't catch any fills there.
All right, Joey, let's talk about Rivian. They have a recall, safety fix. No incidents have been reported, though. Make that very clear. Rivian, guys, is recalling a little bit less than 35,000 vehicles. Sorry, they're delivery vans. Okay, so these probably are the Amazon ones. A little bit less than 35,000 electric delivery vans in the U.S. due to a seatbelt pre-tensioner issue that may fail to restrain the driver properly during the crash. You're just excited, or you're just thankful, I should say, that it's nothing serious like a seatbelt. The recall covers the 2022 to 2025 EDV models, primarily, of course, as I mentioned, the Amazon delivery vans. The problem stems from drivers repeatedly sitting on the already buckled belt.
No way.
Nobody does that, Joey. By the way, I wanna pause for a second because there's something going on with the SMR and it's breaking out. And someone did call it in the chat earlier, but I couldn't find anything on my blotter. SMR is taking out levels. It's at the high of the day right now. I think it got to 19.5. So keep your eye out on SMR. Certainly coming off that $18 low that we had in the morning, but I'm not seeing anything right now, guys, on my blotter. Let's continue to cover this. The NHTSA opened a preliminary probe earlier this year after complaints of frayed or broken cables in about 17,000 vans. No crashes or injuries have been linked. The risk centers around drivers potentially being unrestrained in a sudden deacceleration or collisions. Rivian pushed an over-the-air software update to automatically detect seat belt misuse and alert drivers. The company will inspect and replace the pre-tensioner assembly at no cost if hardware is damaged or found. Joseph, should we be blaming the Amazon drivers here for sitting in the driver's seat unfastened?
I don't know if it's just the Amazon drivers. You think it's the boys? They got to get out quickly, man.
I've never seen videos online ever of Amazon drivers throwing packages onto the porches.
Why would they do that?
They don't do anything like that.
Why would they ever?
They're very good.
Did you ever?
I just saw one yesterday, bro.
Yeah.
It was great.
Did you ever deliver newspapers as a kid?
No, man. I did.
Oh,
Dickie
really?
D's though. Do you know Dickie D's selling the popsicles in the summer? Where that bike. With like the big fridge?
Yeah, with the big fridge on
yeah,
it. You
bro,
did that?
My old man told me, 14 years of age, you got to work. Yeah, and I was working
buddy,
for 14.
I was working before that, my boy.
Legally though?
Yeah, at Little Caesars. Holding the sign. Yeah. They give me like I don't know, they're giving you $20 cash. Yeah, I was in elementary school when I was holding the sign in Bradford.
Yeah.
$20 for 3 hours.
Sick, bro. Well, back in the day,
you know what I mean?
We used to do a lot of shoveling of driveways, the boys and I.
Did you?
When we were strapped for cash.
Yeah.
Run
around the old neighborhood.
Grab the, what's it called? It wasn't even, we didn't have a snowblower, it was shovels. But it was three of us, right?
Yeah, that's all right.
So we just split the money.
$20, yeah. No, I mean, my first actual job was at Dairy Queen, which I was around 14 years old. But I guess I was doing illegal child labor up here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can't put you on payroll, bro.
No,
not at a social insurance.
No, I was never on payroll. It's like you go in there was kids just on the street, you would see them holding the sign. My grandpa said, you're going to work. Here, go hold the Little Caesars sign for 3 hours and walk away with some crazy bread and $20 in your pocket.
All right, Joey, we're going to end off with this story. Obviously, Anthropic not available to trade yet, but you have the likes of Google and Amazon with big stakes in Anthropic, and they are now eyeing a 2026 IPO. Let's talk about this. Anthropic has hired Wilson Sonsini, a major tech-focused law firm, to start early preparation for a 2026 or potential 2026 IPO, reported by the Financial Times. The company is positioning for a move to public markets, but they did emphasize that there is no final decision that has been made yet, and there is no fixed time frame. Talks with banks remain informal, underscoring that the process is still very much in the early stages. But what's the move here? What's the strategic motivation? An IPO would give Anthropic more efficient access to capital, lowering fundraising friction as AI compute costs surge, or will they, with custom ASICs coming possibly here? Being publicly traded would also allow the company to use stock for acquisitions and long-term strategic deals, crucial, of course, for the AI arms race. The massive valuation momentum, though, Joey, because Anthropic is currently negotiating a private funding round that may value the company at over $300 $300 billion, up sharply from prior fundraising cycles. This puts Anthropic in the same valuation orbit as major hyperscalers, and I think that that's pretty close to XAI, if not higher. I don't know where Elon raised last time. I think it was 300, maybe a little bit more, but obviously still far, far behind the potential 1 trillion valuation that people are floating around for OpenAI. Whether that's accurate or not, we'll have to wait and see when they go, if they go public. Anthropic is also heavily backed, Joey, by Google and Amazon, both of which integrate Claude into their cloud and their enterprise stacks. An eventual IPO could provide, obviously, liquidity and markets up for Amazon and Google on their private stakes, but more predictable governance as the company matures. A lot of people are saying that Anthropic, you were telling me this actually yesterday, that they could become profitable before OpenAI.
Yeah, Neil mentioned it as well too. So I mean, it's crazy how the valuation went from 150 million to billion, to 300 billion after that last funding round.
Crazy.
So just literally a double like that. And we're talking about the value of some of these private names, over $1 trillion now. I'm probably 1.2 or something along those lines. They have OpenAI at a $1 trillion valuation almost at this point.
Yes,
don't
that's
they?
what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's far surpassed that. Watch out for the Anthropic IPO. I mean, if OpenAI does get to that level as well too, and they eventually IPO, watch out. These could be potentially the greatest IPOs of all time. I'm going to be looking at Anthropic left, right, and center, and their path of profitability is a little bit ahead of OpenAI because they're not spending as much money.
Hold on. Don't show my screen,
Okay, don't show
Assassino,
it,
please. This is the first time I've ever been on Claude.
Okay.
I've never been on Claude before. They want my phone number.
That's crazy.
Why do they want my phone number, bro? I'm going to give them a fake number. Hold on, I have a burner here, Joey.
Yeah, oh, you got the burner number.
Of course I got a burner number.
That's crazy.
All right, here we go. No, we'll do it after. I've never been on Claude.
Okay.
I've used Perplexity, I've used XAI, obviously Gemini, and Chat.
Yep.
But I've never actually been on Claude. But somebody in the chat there just said, Grant Ratcliffe, he said, because Claude is the god, and he spent God. He spelled God as in Claude. I like that. Shout out to Grant right there.
Someone said give Sean's number.
What? Why would I do that? I don't even have Katina Man's number. I don't even have it. But yeah, I shoot him texts on obviously the work chat. Get it, Katina Man. How was the gym, brother?
Oh, you need Mike, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that
phone.
we're not allowed to do that. Okay.
Mike.
He's talking to Claude. Dude, Claude got his number somehow. No, have you used Claude, Joey?
No, I have not.
Has anybody used Claude on the thing here?
No,
Never.
you know what actually had me laughing this morning? Because Sean's he's like, Joe is the only person who uses on the planet
Copilot.
who uses Copilot.
Only person I know.
Bro, like, come
It's 100% accurate.
Yeah, no.
I don't know
There's no
anybody
way.
else.
I don't even use it anymore.
stopped.
So yeah, I stopped using it. So no one is using it.
You got banned from using Edge, though. That's why.
I know. Yeah, I can't use Edge anymore. So yeah, I can't.
All right,
By
guys.
default, I guess.
All right, guys, I know we're taking a little bit easy here, but there's not much happening right now in the world of small cap gappers. Let's bring them in and have a look. I'm still holding my Poet trade from 537. It's still very much hanging out near highs, guys, which is why I haven't taken anything out. And look what it's doing, what it was doing before. When it got to that top end of the trend line, the channel line there, it was selling off. It is not doing that. In fact, it's been holding this level, I think, almost an hour now. In fact, over an hour, since 12:45, when we got to this level. We're in a very consolidative phase here on Poet. We're not reverting back, so I'm hesitant to want to say continue to trade this as a range because it's not coming back down into the lower end of the range. If it does, though, I would continue to trade it as that. And then if it was to lose the volume weighted average price here at 545, that would be where I end the trade. MCRP continuing to dilly-dally just a bit above that dollar. Not too much, though. It's like $1.01, $1.02. Can't really clear and hasn't been able to clear that 108 high that it put in a lot earlier on, I want to say at 12 o'clock. So MCRP on the MX network, by the way. Likewise with IRBT. Look at this prolonged area of consolidation. But I wanted to mention something that I haven't mentioned in a while. Back, during the COVID days, there would be this trade that we would put on called the VWAP hold high of daybreak. And essentially what it was when it popped off into the afternoon above the volume weighted average price, it would hold VWAP, much like this, like IRBT is doing, holding VWAP, not giving up the level, only to retest the day's high when the more liquid time of the day came in, when the big boys come on. I'm talking about that power hour, 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then you get a price spike up as the volume profile would start increasing again. You start seeing higher highs on the volume bars on the bottom of the screen. So look out for that trade. IRBT could be a VWAP hold, high of daybreak into the later stages of the day. So keep your eye out on that. Currently, though, it is doing nothing. It is very, very consolidative. Are you kidding? She's dropping more money? KC526, not only gifting people memberships daily, but she's dropping more cash in the chat. Thank you, Casey. Sharif, thank you for the tech analysis yesterday on AKMR, up 7% today. Thank you, you're the best. No, I'm rejecting that. You're the best, KC526. She trades small caps. She's born on May 26th, which is the day after my birthday.
Oh, really?
That makes me like her even more.
There you go.
Shout out to Casey. Get it, Casey, and thank you very kindly for the super chat.
Casey's a superstar, man.
Superstar, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, guys, it's not time for the 30-second trade review, so we're not going to do that. But I've only traded 3 names. I cut IWM because it wasn't doing what I wanted it to. I had no real reason, so it's literally just a little tap on the wrist.
A little tap.
You can see, yeah, there's nothing, a little tap. Just tap it in. Just tap it in. You know what that's from, right?
Tap?
No, just tap it in.
No, I don't.
Just tap it in.
Hockey?
Happy Gilmore.
Oh, okay. That's been a minute since I watched that, bro, but I did watch that.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mentioned that things were going to. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't watch the new one or anything along those lines. What's that buddy's name again? His like arch rival.
Shooter McGavin.
Shooter
Yeah,
McGavin.
I remember. That's so
Shooter
funny.
McGavin. So there it is, guys.
Remember
IWM looking for the short. We started small. We added some. We did get the move. I tried to take some off. Didn't catch any fill. Then it just came right back to my break even essentially, and we just got out of that trade. No issues whatsoever. What happened?
He's trying to get Assassino's attention, and Assassino, he wants to start shooting, man. Shout out to Assassino. Shout out to
the sharpshooters as well. So yeah, I mean, IBIT, guys, has been absolutely phenomenal
Joey,
for us.
favorite wrestling move?
Oh man,
You said sharpshooter. I just,
Is that a? I
Bless
don't know.
you.
Is that an? I didn't know if that was a.
It's a Bret Hart.
Is it Bret Hart?
Come on, man.
I like so. I think mine is going to either be the F5.
The F5, okay.
Yeah, F5 is pretty good.
That's Brock Lesnar, right? And it's supposed to be like a tornado F5?
Yeah, it's either Brock. Yeah, it's either Brock Lesnar or Cena, I think, who does that one.
Okay.
And then Sweet Chin Music, we like that. It's people getting kicked in the face is always fun.
So good. That's Shawn Michaels, yeah.
It's always a good one.
I'm going to go ahead and say the Razor's Edge.
The Razor's Edge?
Yeah, that was Razor Ramon, Scott Hall,
yeah, I
right?
remember
So he put you like in a power bomb kind of position, but he would put you with like your arms, and his head was like in the middle of your back, and you felt pretty hard.
Yeah. I remember that one. Yeah, so he's like behind you like this, and
he
yeah,
slams
I
you
remember
down.
that one. I mean, the pedigree is an all-time move as well. Like guys in school were getting pedigreed left, right, and center.
All the time.
It was dangerous.
I'm just surprised you didn't say the Stone Cold Stunner because you have
the Stunner's
Stone
pretty
Cold.
cool.
It's exciting.
Can I tell you my least favorite all-time move?
Go.
The People's Elbow.
Yeah,
I
it was
can't
super lame.
stand it.
Super
It's like,
lame.
it's so prolonged. Buddy's throwing off
Super
his
lame.
thing, does 4 laps in the ring, does his little leg move, and then decides to hit them with that.
Absolutely
it's just like,
agree.
It's like,
The
come
rock
on,
bottom was
man.
better.
Rock bottom
Rock
much
bottom
better,
was
man.
better.
But the People's Elbow, get that garbage out of here.
All right, man. All right, we're digressing real big here. Let's take a look at the market, guys. Since the small caps are doing what they're doing at the moment. Look, it's a green day in the market. It didn't start off that way. We had an aggressive sell to start early in the pre-market as we got word that Microsoft was lowering some of the sales standards for their AI products amongst their sales representatives. We had Microsoft come out, dispute that report later on in the day. The market did rebound somewhat, but as you can see here, Softy still taking it on the chin, 1.8% negative and still below that $500 mark. Leading the way, as I'll get to on the afternoon rundown, really is the Russell 2000 up now above 2,500. Again, a key area for the Russ as of late, but the Dow doing quite good as well, up 0.89. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. Semiconductors, really for the exception of NVIDIA and AVGO, and maybe a little Micron, very, very green on the day today. Whether you're looking at Taiwan Semi, SMCI, ASML, a lot of green names today in semiconductor world. It is the exact opposite in the world of Chinese ADRs. They are all red, save and except for one over here, DIY. Everything in Redsville, and especially being led to the downside by the Chinese EVs. Outsized sell orders today on XPEV and on NIO. Li Auto as well, suffering from that, down 7 3/4. Crypto continues to do well, but Bitcoin dropping below 93,000 again, Joey. But most notably, ETH clearing 3,000 by $100 now, so we'll have to keep it on that. That was a key level for ETH as well, so we'll have to keep a close eye on that. And as you mentioned earlier, Joey, Hood having a fantastic day, up almost 5%.
Clearance just made me remind me of, I don't know why, but just led me to the point. And Clarence' parents had a really good marriage. All right, aside from that guy, you know what that's from, right? Okay, all right, anyways, we're moving on here.
He sets me up for failure, guys.
Well, you were chuckling, so I thought you know, Dara knows, so.
Where is Claire's parents from? What is that, like a children's book?
8 Mile.
8 Mile. I did watch that, but that's like 100 years old. 8 Mile? Isn't 8 Mile from like the early 2000s?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like quite a bit.
All right, that's a century ago for sure. Anyways, guys, IBIT, we'll do a 30-second trade review right now. The best trade of the day is going to be IBIT, giving it 10 cents a risk up to 52.40, and then hitting this move there, get stopping out 20% of our remaining position. And then we just look for that consolidation breakout. Not the best entry, obviously, from a risk-reward standpoint, but we're fortunate enough for that volume to really start to pick up. And then sure enough, we get a nice move to the top side once again, stopped out 5% at the end of it. Now, as for the IWM, we do take a small loss on that, but we're doing NVDA first before we head over to that one. What is the chat saying, Sharif?
No, Neil's chiming in.
What do you say? Don't hate
It's like, don't hate on Claire.
It ain't his fault. Yeah.
God, Joey, I got to interrupt.
Go ahead, man.
IRBT is breaking out. Here we go. We've took out 330 now. We're on the way to 3. We just actually touched 340, I believe. We actually got to 41. So IRBT reawakening here. I was trying to tell you guys that VWAP hold high of daybreak. This one really did fit the profile because it was holding well above VWAP for the majority of the afternoon, despite, you know, not able to take out levels. That 350 level still is the high of the day, but be on the lookout here. IRBT could be a big mover in the later part of the day. Who knows? Maybe it touches 4, maybe gets to 100% on the day. We're up 72% right now, Joey, but certainly looking like the best of the bunch right now in the world of small cap gappers. You know, only Poet still holding out near the highs, and that's why we're still holding it for the moment. But IRBT dilly-dallying here in the mid-30s, looking to take out 40. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, yeah, no worries, guys. We'll head back into, we got 10 seconds left on the trade view. As for NVDA, guys, we're down slightly, about 0.5% here, but that short right into the volume weighted average price worked out relatively well for us. And then as for the IWM, it is starting to cook up. I said it's only a matter of time until this thing starts to turn around. So you start small. We almost get right around the top, and then you get that move. Didn't catch any fails, and then I'm like, you know what, let's just get out of this break even because we are counter trending. If 240, 870s does break, then I think there can be some more downside momentum in the Russ 2000 iShares.
Joey, who's the best performing Mag 7 on the day? Don't look.
Apple.
Oh, Apple's red.
Is it?
The Cybertruck.
Is it Tesla?
4% today for Tesla, man.
Right. Well, I haven't really been looking
on the back of the robotics headline.
Yeah, which makes sense. But Apple was performing well this morning.
Apple's down 0.25%.
It was up nicely this morning. Okay, yeah. So now I haven't looked at it since this morning, really, a couple of times.
That's why I asked you not to look.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it.
So keep it somewhat exciting. Tesla's still holding on to green though. Oh, just put it. Whoa.
What?
What the hell? Whoa, how come no one's been talking about it? Look at this massive breakout here in Tesla. Yeah, I know it's up, but wow, okay, yeah. I mean, I haven't really been looking at it, but Tesla definitely being the better performer.
Yeah, and Tesla possibly running on this headline, guys. Here it is. Let me just make it a little bit larger. This was earlier in the day. We got this headline that shares of robotics linked stocks are trading higher after Politico reported that President Trump's administration is considering issuing an executive order on robotics next year. I don't think we've heard anything from the president himself or from his administration. I don't know if we have. I don't think we have. So keep your eye out for that. Also, Rich Tech Robotics, RR, I believe, was doing well on the day. It's up 10 2/3. SERV could be another one to keep an eye out there. SERV also up 11%. So the robotics names are still holding up. In fact, SERV is quite close to the day's high, so that robotics trade, Joey, could be an important one heading into the end of the week over here.
Apparently the chat's been saying about Tesla, guys. I've been living in my own world with Bitcoin and IWM, so I apologize that I missed everyone talking about that one there. But yeah, nice volume breakout in Tesla, so that move is most definitely being sustained. The best performing Mag 7 is not Apple.
No.
It is
not.
TSLA.
But you know what time it is, right?
It's